Hi folks, how's things? Can you hear me alright? I didn't play my 90-second, buy me 90 seconds there in a while. I needed it there, I was just snoring my tea. Hey Sherry, hi Nita, how are you? Oh, I've no piano. Just at the start. Just to settle us down. There was a lot of stuff on Monkey today, did you see it? Michelle had a video, and then Crime Lines and Lies had a live stream as well. Brandy was on it. It was good. I have did you see Michelle's video today on Dom Wells? Hey Clara. Do you know what? I need to open up the I'm just going to open up the YouTube chat as well while I'm in here, because I don't see the emojis properly, and I think a few people have new badges as well. He got a star or 2 stars above it. Ah, that's better. That's better. Now I can see it better. Yeah, look, Anna, look at your stars. And Sherry. Hi, Karina. Karina, is that how you pronounce it? Austria, cool. But in Michelle's video today, I'm going to play because when she was saying it and she was talking about Dawn, I was like, oh my God, that's just screaming Tony to me. And I want to update the doc that we have. I did some of it there beforehand because I never put Bart stuff in. But I do have the stepsister. And it's even interesting there now when you're just kind of going back, looking through the examples. You're like, my God. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. I'm getting a lot of thumbs down lately, but I don't know, does that actually affect? I think it might in some way because they're just kind of coming in thumbs down and going out. But it's still engagement. So I wonder, does YouTube read it as engagement? I don't know. A lot of weasels. Did you see my post last night? I think tomorrow's video might be called a special video for a special weasel. Does a help like lock? That's good. That's good. I'm making a fortune off these weasels. Hundreds of thousands of euro. They've been so good to me. Oh jeez, lads, Aaron's hair was list. Yeah, and you see, I think I'll have that. I think that'll be the video tomorrow. Special video for a special weasel. I've got some good receipts. America's crazy. Crazy, your open records. The things you can find out. Did you all hear Aaron's we had an emergency podcast today. He had to update his other one. He's in a heap. I'm not setting any traps, Raz. I'm making hundreds of thousands of euro off them. I'm going to buy an island and move all my Navi clan over there. There's people signing up to my Patreon and buckets, membership and buckets. That's all thanks to them. Hundreds of members. I'm going to play a little bit. I'll kill my piano there, but if things get... If you ever want the piano back on, just put in all the piano emojis. And we'll get it back. But I'm going to... just want to play this little clip. I know Michelle won't mind. Just a part of her video today where she's talking about it. And then I want to go over a few of... maybe 3 of my last short videos. Because there was 1 or 2 things I didn't say in them that I want to kind of say. And then we'll update the PowerPoint. I'll put the link in there now again actually for that, because I updated it. It's the same link anyway as the last time. And then we call it a... Do you know what? They were just very, very weaselly. So I called them that once. Michelle picked up on it. She loved it. I just think it's a very apt nickname. Nothing against weasels. They are cute. But just their weaselly behaviour. Wait till you see these receipts, lads. My God. I might put the full one up. The full report up then on my Patreon. I'll get another couple of 100 people in. Make more money off the weasels. We'll buy 2 islands. Sarcasm is definitely going over some people's heads stopping listening to this, but sure, look. Michelle was very busy today. The monkey video was on her Michelle Walks channel. This is the Michelle After. I love this video actually, even like all the stuff about Dawn. I think a lot of us can relate to swinging back, and even though I'm like, did he catch me with things? Because I have been harsh on him, but some of the things then that I believed about him, you question yourself afterwards. You're like, did he just play me with that? And it happened. I always thought that knew he was taking cocaine, but I always thought he crack and meth. He wanted nothing to do with it. I think he fooled me with that. I'll pause my music. I think pretty much everyone inside here is going to know who Michelle is, but if you don't, go over and check out Michelle After Dark and Michelle Walks. Michelle After Dark kind of focuses on Summer Wells, a lot of monkey stuff in there as well. And before that, there's some brilliant stuff on Chris Watts. And then Michelle Walks has kind of everything, kind of like my channel.
And he knows what happened.
Is that a bit loud?
To Summer. They all know what happened to Summer. It just makes you think that way. There's more little nuggets.
I think it's just coming up here now. I'm just going to play. But
that make me think one way or the other. So I'm going to
it's Cassie and Miss Tillington are the dogs. They're gorgeous, aren't they?
discuss both sides. And then I'm going to let you make up your mind. What do you think? Might even put a poll in my community tab later, once people have had a chance to watch this video, to see what you really think. But in the meantime, drop your comments.
My internet's a bit slow. 2 secs.
I just go back and forth. that one side of me thinks that Don knows absolutely nothing about what happened to Summer.
I don't want to skip. I know it's coming up. She's talking about Don now, but she'll go into the
He
reason.
knows exactly what happened to Summer, and he's just being really good at covering it up. And that then gets me thinking about the Dark Triad,
Yeah.
which
Here we go now. Michelle gives a brilliant explanation here on this.
is a collection of personality traits in 3 clusters. And if they all come together in the same person, you get somebody who's really dangerous. Not necessarily criminally dangerous.
I was quick there to save the sound in the ad, wasn't I?
There's some incredibly successful people who score really highly on these personality traits, but they're not a nice person. They've just used this really dark side of their personality to basically walk all over people. Like CEOs of major companies are more likely to measure high on psychopathic traits, than regular people and other people. So does Don Wells measure high on the personality traits that make up the Dark Triad? What is the Dark Triad? Well, the Dark Triad is psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism. And each one of those 3 clusters, you can kind of measure the traits within them. So psychopathic people who measure high on psychopathy, tend to be no empathy, very shallow, but they can be superficially charming, and they don't care. So there's some major criminals who measure high on psychopathy, but also, as I said, CEOs of major companies are more likely to measure high on psychopathy than regular people. Then you've got narcissism, this love for yourself, self-centeredness, the capacity to deem yourself better than everybody else. You have a grandiose self-image. The only person that you really care about is yourself, and you'll do anything to protect your own self-image. And then there's Machiavellianism, which is probably the least discussed of these 3 clusters that make up the Dark Triad. And that is the desire for power and control. So if you measure high in Machiavellianism, everything centers around you because you have to be in control. You want power, and you don't care how you're going to get it. And again, that can make you really successful in life because you're unscrupulous. You know, you're power hungry. Some very, very rich people measure high in Machiavellianism, but so do a lot of criminals. But when you put those 3 clusters of personality traits together to make up the Dark Triad, people measuring high in all 3, psychopathy, narcissism, and Machiavellianism, then you have one very dark, dangerous person who lacks empathy, who desires nothing but their own self-interest. Don Wells is that.
So that was really good. Michelle knows what she's talking about there as well. And I want to show you one more one. Sprouts. They have a YouTube channel. Very good. They do a lot of psychology videos, kind of aiming them at teaching and infographics. They're fantastic stuff. I want to play a part from their one on it.
The narcissist displays grandiosity, entitlement, and business. Here is an overview of what we know. The narcissist displays grandiosity, entitlement, and superiority, and wants nothing more than admiration. Once he gets what he wants, the narcissist is rarely interested in other people. When he does care, it's to enhance his status, which is why he likes to mingle with successful others. They seem as though they're completely in love with themselves, but at the root of their inflated egos are often deeply held feelings of inferiority. To protect their constructed self, they can never admit to being wrong, which is why they lie or blame others.
So you get someone high in all these, that's when you're going to get the dark triad. That's when you're going to get the dangerous person. And you're going to have even lip lock there, like I'd say it's probably even higher lip lock. Is it? I say it could be closer to 90% of CEOs will have certain traits as well. But it's when you get all these three combined at a high level.
Machiavellians are unprincipled, cold, and have a cynical view of other human beings. They like money, power,
Think about Tony Herno as well with these. And we'll go through some of the examples after this.
and winning, and they use manipulation to get what they want or exploit others. If manipulation doesn't work, they steal or betray. Those high on the spectrum believe it's better to be feared than being liked and defend others as a strategy to control them. When you are a psychopath, you come across as
I love the way they say that.
cold, and others think you are scary. You also show little to no fear, act impulsively, and you enjoy mental thrills. Those high on the spectrum don't form any emotional bonds. The result is a complete lack of compassion. That means they have no problem being mean. If something terrible happens, they later often don't feel any remorse or guilt. The reason
Right. Tony. Just get my piano quick. Just a quick one. Because we know a lot. We know a lot about Tony now. That's that link. All the stuff that we took down. The first stream, second stream. I added some in there now tonight. And I might actually go back and just play now the like two or three of those short streams, because I know some people are watching my long streams. I don't know why they don't watch the short ones if you're watching the long ones. And then vice versa. So the dark triad. Entitlement, superiority, wants admiration, doesn't care about others. If it looks like they do, it's just to enhance their own status. In love with themselves, can't admit when they're wrong, blame others. Cold, cynical view of others, like money, power, winning, manipulation, steal, betray, better to be feared than loved. Michelle's psychopathy. Psychopaths. Whoa. Is there a few people in here? Cold, others think you were scary, show a little fear, act impulsively, lack of compassion, no problem being mean, no remorse or guilt. There's some of the stuff on Bart that I scribbled down, but I had that in the video anyway. Hi, bloke. I'd see you had some Delphi streams there last night, was it as well? I need to catch up on some of them. Which one was this? Quick note before I start this video. Popping in here to leave a nasty comment about Kelsey Bart. I still got comments after that. Just two. for bullying and harassing the poor girl. Stop it. Leave these people alone. This is a photo of Tony Kline and 3 kids on his back. Kegan in the middle, the youngest, and Tony's stepson and daughter on either side. Kegan is their half-brother. They refer to him as their brother, so that's how I'm going to refer to him in this video. Tony isn't their dad. He was their stepdad for a few years. They want nothing to do with him. This photo was posted on Facebook by Kegan's sister with this caption: "Here's proof that we aren't lying. There's no conflicting stories about what Bart said. It's all true. And here's a picture of Bart, Kegan, myself and Tony. My cast is from a broken leg due to Tony." Look, you're going to throw me off here now. Is that the friend, is it? Tony asked to tag team this friend with Kegan in front of her. There's nothing surprising there. Chasing me with a dirt bike. What she's talking about here is what I was telling you in my last video about Anya and Kevin from Emojis Podcast. They said that they had an interview with the person who Tony smashed into the toilet as a kid. That's Bart. He was Tony's stepson at the time. They released the interview during the week and he had a lot of interesting things to say. Tony put these kids through hell in their childhood. They are adults now and doing well, but you can clearly see and hear the PTSD from Bart's voice. He talks about things that are normal to him that just aren't normal, and I think sometimes he doesn't really realise it until he's talking out loud. And he has a good idea who Tony is. He knows Tony. He was with him for his whole childhood. His first memory of a birthday party when he was younger, Tony was there. He was married to his mom for about 10 years, so he basically knew Tony since he was a toddler till he was around 12. And he said Tony's side of the family is the only side of the family that he knew for a long time, because Tony had blocked out all the mother's relations and all her friends, all the usual stuff. He said all the Klines knew about the abuse that Tony used to hand out over the years. Tony was the person who Bart called dad for half his childhood. He knows him well, and he calls him, quote, "the worst person I've ever known." His childhood was full of fear of him because how physical abusive he towards him, his mother, his sister. And Bart talks about how he thought it was all normal, that this goes on in every house. It wasn't until he went to his friend's house he realised that it wasn't normal. And even listening to this interview, there's still things to this day that Bart is bringing up that he thinks is very normal, that isn't normal at all. He definitely has a bit of PTSD from this man, no doubt. He calls him, quote, "an evil person," but in a very casual, matter-of-fact kind of way. He said that his mother said Tony was bipolar and that he could see that in him. He said he was a prick, basically, and didn't really try to hide it, or at least didn't hide it that well. This wasn't a case of totally different man behind closed doors or anything like that. He was violent in public, had no issues with it. It was very normal. It wasn't a hidden thing. He talks about plates being smashed off the wall, his sister getting thrown through a door, Tony on top of his mum, punching her in the face, full force. She's on the ground in a complete frenzy. His mother used to always have black eyes, just open out there, broken nose once. Very normal, not a hidden thing at all. Tony is a complete control freak. He said if you were sitting in a room at night and you got up to get a glass of water and you didn't ask Tony before you got up to get that glass of water, it would result in violence. That was crazy, wasn't it? And the way he said it was just, sure, you know the way if you got up and didn't ask. And something as small as that would trigger Tony into violence. Tony cannot control himself if he's not managing all the decisions. He said he had a couple of friends that oh my god, look at this. I have to wait 16 seconds before I can skip this. Oh no. Races with no one in particular that he can remember. Tony loved his cars. Clara or Clara, is it Clara or Kara? I need to make that bigger. Clara. That's been going on for years. The stuff she gets sent is vile. She's constantly getting messages on Instagram, Twitter, whatever she's on. You see it on chats here on YouTube as well. They think she's involved. Ridiculous. If you go onto her Twitter, and I think if you scroll back to the the anniversary of the girls, she actually has a tweet up where she put up a screenshot of one of the messages she got on that day. And she says it's like that every year. It's horrendous. Love telling people how much money he has. Sounds very much like the persona in the Anthony Shots profile. Bart said he did make an attempt when he first came into his life to be a kind of father figure. But once he lost a bit of control, he pulled away completely. And Bart actually had the name Bart Kline for 2 years. Tony and his mum went to the school, all Tony's doing, and changed Bart's name to Kline, which caused the child embarrassment, chaos, confusion. His biological dad was raging over it, as you would be. This shows Tony and his dominance and his trying to have ownership over things. And I think he resented these two kids because he could never have that with them. He was never going to get that. Bart then talks about the bathroom story, and it's important to note he had no idea that Anya and Kevin knew this before telling the story. He hadn't seen the transcripts or anything like that at the time. And he pretty much recounts the same story. If anything, Bart kind of downplays it and leaves one or two details out until later on. I will link the podcast down below in the description. You have to go and listen to this because you need to listen to it to actually understand the trauma and PTSD that's coming out of Bart as he's telling the story. When Anya and Kevin read him the transcript, he's shocked. He's shocked to hear it out loud. He's shocked that this was read to Kegan. And that's when he opens up a small bit more about the injuries. He's like, oh yeah, I still have the scars on my head and stuff. But again, very, very casual about it. He says he doesn't remember being hurt, but clearly he had a severe concussion and it was a traumatic experience for him. The hospital records are there. We know what happened. He does remember going to the hospital. He remembers talking to the police there at the time. He was 8 years old when this happened. And Tony was out of the picture for a while after this happened. He did come back for a year or two, and then finally Bart's mum bounced him, and they separated. After this bad assault, he didn't assault him anymore like that. And we know why, because it was a much more severe assault than Bart recounts, and much more serious than you might think when you're listening to Bart tell the story. He has memories of being in Delphi when he was younger, fishing. He loved hunting. He was an avid hunter, liked hunting, fishing, and cars. That was it. Oh, and motorbikes. He had an interest in motorbikes. He said he was interviewed by the FBI for hours, and he did get the vibe that Tony was involved. He says he doesn't want to believe it and hopes it is not true, but says Tony is definitely someone he could see losing his mind and killing someone. He said he had the rage factor. Anya then asks him, did he ever threaten you with a knife or anything like that? And very quickly again casually responds, oh yeah, absolutely. Very normal, no hesitation with the answer. And he said weapons were normal or whatever was handy. Baseball bats were a regular thing. He said once Tony was trying to play a game on a desktop PC and Bart was trying to tell him, you can't play that because the RAM in the PC is too low. You need to upgrade the PC. Tony got mad, ripped the PC with sockets attached up from the desk on the table and chased Bart with it and threw it at him. The abuse didn't stop with his mother because after they separated, Bart had heard, maybe from Kegan, maybe from other people, that Tony was abusing his new girlfriends. He says Kegan went to live with him when they separated and doesn't think he knows much of the abuse. Kegan was shielded from a lot of it when he was younger. And they didn't really talk about it, but he knows that Bart doesn't want anything to do with Tony. He was pretty close to Kegan, calls him his little brother. They're still texting today, but he says he doesn't even want to text him back anymore. He said, I'm actually not sure about that. Whether they're still texting today, I know maybe they were for a while after he went Tony in. Used to leave him get away with everything when he was younger. He didn't treat him like he treated the other kids. He was his tag team partner. And it was more like a friend relationship than a father-son. He did say he's not very close with Kegan, but he'd be the closest sibling and they talk about just video games and stuff. He told us he is a compulsive liar, lies about silly things. He once sent him, which is just kind of important, he sent him a photograph of him in Vegas that was clearly photoshopped. And Bart calls him out on it and he's like, oh yeah, I was just checking to see, did you notice? I'm testing my Photoshop skills. He said Kegan was very open about moving to Vegas and he told him some of the... So he's going to... He goes on to say that he was in Vegas, or he thought he was in Vegas as well for the 4 years. So it wasn't just people on Facebook that Tony was pretending that they were in Vegas, that it was people around him as well. The lies that we kind of already heard and we know are lies. And this is a story that him and Tony made up together and stuck with it and lied to everybody about it, not just strangers on Facebook. I forgot I said that. Why did they do this? What's going on here? Why did they do this? There must be a reason. He called Kegan a big, angry guy, said he had anger issues, very much like his dad. He didn't see him ever assault a woman, but he said he did see him explode in rage and anger. And the most shocking part for me was probably, I think it's in the middle of this podcast, when they ask him about the voice. I'm going to play 2 small clips for you here, but please go and check out this full podcast after this. You really need to hear Bart. He's very, very credible. More the shit. Oh my God, guys. Rocco still has his balls. He's postponed till Tuesday. I forgot to tell you. At the start. Again, amazing job. Love the way they left some of the pauses in and they didn't edit that stuff out. It just really immerses you into the conversation. It's also worth noting that Bart did meet Tony a few years back in the movie theatre. Just a quick conversation. So he does know his voice. He also will definitely have a memory of Tony when Tony is angry and in that mood and trying to control people. This is what he said when he was asked, does the voice of the guy saying down the hill sound like Tony?
No, it didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, he has like a very kind of high-pitched, weird voice. Like it's not deep at all. So yeah, I did not think it was Tony.
And this is what he said when he was asked, does it sound like Kegan? I'm going to leave the pause in here from just after when the question was asked.
It did sound like Kegan, I will be honest. I'm just going to be honest. It did sound like him to me. Yeah.
That shocked me. I was expecting him to confirm that it was Tony. So what's going on here? Is this some little sick wrestling tag team match? Like, to me, Bridge Guy walks like Tony, doesn't fit Kegan. Kegan would be too heavy for him. But I completely believe Bart about the voice. I do. So is this what Doug Carter meant when they switched sketches and he said, you didn't think we would go in this route? Tony clearly could do this without Kegan's help, but Kegan could not do it without Tony's help. And I think that's true. I know a lot of people are thinking Kegan, I don't even think he was driving at the time. I don't think he's clever enough at all. Do they know the two of them are involved? Are they with? I didn't know about the strip club when I was making this video. So you can see, like, there's a tag team running through this whole case. Waiting for one of them to flip on the other. Is that why they were putting pressure on Kegan? Lying to him saying, we know for sure you're not involved. Wanting him to throw his dad under the bus. But in reality, Ellie know both of them were involved. Let me know. And this was the one about this strip club. But I want to talk more about the jury pool as well, because there was one thing I left out of that and it was annoying me after I made it. That has to load now again. I loaded it up already. Saying it because it came out that that's not how his friends or his family say it. Also, I was thinking, are we playing into Tony's hand by calling him Kegan? Because that's a sick reason why he called him that. So no, I don't even know what to call him anymore. But that's what his family and friends grew up calling him. So I don't know. His dad says a Kegan. Nobody knew why, but everyone just started calling him Kegan. And I know some people are still calling him Kegan, but it has come out why he's called Kegan. So Tony's favourite strip club was called Kegan Stein. And that's where it comes from. It comes from Tony being a creep, calling his firstborn son after his favourite nightclub. Does he think it's funny? Is it something more than that? Kegan Stein, Kegan Kline. And I think with little details like that coming out, you can see all the stuff the last few weeks. It's really complicated. The stream I did on Tony when we went through his criminal record, there's a lot going on there, a lot. And then last week we had the things with Bart. Again, a lot going on there. You need a few days alone to wrap your head around what's going on. And I'm starting to wonder, is all this intentional? If this ever goes to trial, they're going to have to paint a picture. They're going to have to paint. Right, so we got the update a few months ago out of nowhere, 10 o'clock at night, about the Anthony Shots profile. Then very conveniently, Wish TV linked that to Kegan Kline the next day. Where did Wish TV get the info from? So that was something I didn't say in this, but that was another indication that this was potentially something that was, I think, intentionally put out there because it's so complex, it's so complicated, just to give people some sort of chance to wrap their head around what's going on. A horrible picture. But is all the stuff coming out now just a bit of primer paint? Prime the jury pool for what they're going to hear. It's dirty. Well, probably not dirty, but it's sneaky. Do I care? No, absolutely not. It's not as if they're planting evidence or anything like that. And if this helps prime the jury pool and get a conviction, I'm all for it, if they're the right people. The reason I'm saying that is when this first came out about 2 weeks ago, a lot of people, when I made videos, were commenting, how do you know this real? What's going on here? Is this actually real? And we know it was. I speculated at the time that maybe Anya and Kevin wouldn't release it. We knew they had it. But I was wondering, was it not going to be released because LE might get onto them, and they seem like the people who would hold back if LE wanted them to hold back, if it impacted the case. But they didn't. I'm going to play a piece of audio from Gray Hughes. I'll put a full link to that episode in the description box as well. This is Anya and Kevin. They were talking to him and he asked them about it. This is the answer. So this was them because when we knew they got them, I thought that there's a chance they won't release them. They'll get onto them and they'll complain, be like, oh, you know, yeah, we won't release that. It might impact an ongoing case. So that they gave.
And tell us how it went down. Wasn't there a time where you tried to ask, hey, is this okay to put out there?
Oh, yeah, geez. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we can kind of go into like what our contact was with authorities, because I think that's another sort of narrative where people are saying, you know, well, they, you know, the case is ruined now or something.
Is that the Weasels watching, Sherry? Is it? Guys, please hit the like button like you'd hit a weasel.
We reached out to some people in the law enforcement community. We're going to be a little bit vague about who the people were we talked to, but we reached out, and the message we were left with was basically the only thing of concern was protecting the names of innocent people, which that was our concern too. So we said, yeah, that's not an issue. We'll take all that out. And the people in the law enforcement community said, you know, it's possible that the prosecutor might have some concerns. You really should call and contact the prosecutor before you do anything. So on 8 days before the episode came out, a Monday before the Tuesday before, so like 8 days, we called the prosecutor's office and we left a voicemail explaining who we were and what the issue was. And we also at that time wrote an email to the prosecutor, again, where we explained what we had and what we were planning to do. A couple of days later, they sent us an email from the prosecutor's office in which they said, we're very busy, we'll get back to you later. And then a couple of days after that, on the Friday before we released the episode, we wrote them and said, you know, we've contacted you beginning of the week. We just like to remind you that this is the issue. And if you have an issue with it, please let us know. And we'll take whatever you say seriously. And the episode is planned to be released on Tuesday. So please contact us before then so we can address whatever concerns you might have if we want to be responsible. And the prosecutor never got back to us.
No effort from the prosecutor to stop them from releasing it once they knew that the victims were protected.
Well, I mean, I think I think it, you know, it almost feels like there was this obligatory, well, we don't really want it, but they kind of wanted it out there. You know what I mean? It was sort of this weird feeling. Go ahead.
I think the sense we got was that in a case where it's a very high profile case, it's a very important case, that and we signaled our openness to talking with these power brokers and perhaps, you know, being open to redacting information. The fact that they did not sort of run after us on that or even really ask for anything other than names of innocent people is sort of, that's, I think we take a lesson from that. And I think that sort of informed the way we reported on this.
Well, but you're a lawyer, Kevin, so let me ask you something. Do you think there's a reason why they couldn't, let's say they wanted to put that out there intentionally, would there be a reason they couldn't do that?
It would be a violation of ethics to release this material intentionally.
Interesting.
If you were one of the lawyers in the case.
So if it's an accident. Oh, sorry, sorry, Matt. Go ahead.
Yeah, it would be bad if you were the defense attorney or the prosecution in the case.
But because it was a, quote, clerical error.
So that was interesting, wasn't it? They would not ignore them like that if they didn't want it out there. This is a very active case and an active prosecutor. They chose to ignore them. They wanted it out there. Another indication of that is the fact that the mainstream media didn't pick up on it for 10 days. The reason this is they wouldn't run with it unless LE confirmed that it was authentic. And it did. And that's why they started running with it. What's going on? Is this the FBI priming a potential jury pool? Like I said, they're going to have to paint a nasty picture. And I wish they didn't. If this does go to trial, there's going to be some awful details come out. Like, imagine a trial was on and this stuff was coming out as it was on. You'd be frazzled from it, wouldn't you? A lot of the rumours and speculation seem to be true. So if it's the same case with the actual crime scene, it's going to be horrendous. And I wish there was a way for that to be held back from the family, held back from everyone. There's rumours that the audio tape is a lot longer, but the voices on that are going to be the girls. And once that's out there, it's going to be played in every documentary, every opening, every show is going to have it. And the family are going to have to hear that and know this evidence for the rest of their lives. But I think if they got a chance, they'll take justice. But this is a crazy case with crazy details. I don't think I say any more there. I just want to go through their interviews and the details. That's not fair the way that has to load again. That's so rude. Rocco's balls have got to go. I've been talking to some women and girls about it. You seem to have no issues with it. Just chop it off. Yeah. I've seen some of the comments as well. Is Sarah me there? She's like, just take it off. Take the whole thing off. And then a few people, I think, sensed from this video that I was a bit, And they're like, don't do it. Don't do it to him. He has to. Off. It'll be fine. Take it off. No hesitation. I think it's a small bit harder for men. But it has to be done. It's for the best. Speaking of losing your balls, I wish Tony Kline did, because that man is a monster. We went through last night on a members stream the details from his stepdaughter, Kegan's stepsister, Bart's full sister, and it was shocking, very disturbing. Not the stream, that was good. Possibly saved Nisi's life. That's another story, but update on that. I think I pinned it down below, did I? Is the comments not coming up because I'm too zoomed? So Nisi, happy to report information went to the dear high school friend of mine this morning, police officer Sergeant Russ. Go on, Sergeant Russ. Plus, my husband did his deepest dive I've ever seen on my phone. He may not have known exactly how many times I was contacted after he told him off. You're hiding a few things there, I'd say, were you? The details from Kegan's sister, who doesn't want to be named, so I'm going to call her what the people on the murder sheet called her, Gwen. This is very different to Bart's interview. The main one being because she didn't want her voice or her name out there. They actually read from a transcript of the conversation they had with her. It was still... Yeah, I know, Keith. I get that. It's just... God. The crime scene stuff in the family. But they'll take it in a heartbeat if it means getting a conviction. Good, but it's a lot harder to pick up things that you'd pick up when it's first person. But I completely understand why she did it. She's been through hell and wants people to know what Tony is like. And that's what she said. She said, I want to speak up. I want to tell people how Tony is. And if we know anything from Delphi, it's that there's crazy people out there who... Wait there, we'll have a quick look. Entitlement, superiority, I can't even say it, lads. I can't talk today. It was the same on the podcast. Want admiration, doesn't care about others. If it looks like they do is to enhance their own status, in love with themselves, can't admit when wrong, blame others. Cold, cynical, like money, power, winning, manipulation, would steal, betray, better to be fair than loved. Cold, others think they are scary, show little fear, act impulsively, lack of compassion, no problem being mean, no remorse or guilt. Go after people like Kelsey, so imagine what they'll do to people like her. Her name is not Emily Ann, and she has nothing to do with that profile that was found on Kegan's device, the one that mentioned stepsister. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting to be as surprised as I was. I was expecting some bad stuff. But my God, Tony is a piece of shit. She was never essayed by Tony, but the violence he put her through was incredible. She was only 2 when her mom married Tony, so she was there till she was 13, till she moved in with her bio dad. So she was there for a long time. And she knows Tony. She knows his violence. She suffered from it. One of her earliest memories was when she was 4 years old. Tony Snap punched her in the face, 4-year-old girl, something over going to a Tupperware party with her mother, and then he beat her mother as well because of it. And she actually has a picture of when she was 4 years old, and she has that black eye in the picture. She remembers Bart and the toilet incident, traumatized by it. She remembers a time when Tony didn't like what her mother was cooking for dinner, so he took her hands and scalded them in the oven. That's mad, isn't it? Oh, you can't see with the... Oh, thanks, Clara. Clara, we've loads of streams there now in the members only on Delphi. Loads, actually, the last 2 weeks, guys, don't we? We do go off topic sometimes. But it's good crack, and there's lovely people in there. She said the police were always called. Tony would say he was drunk or off his bipolar meds, and they'd be like, Tony, cop on. They didn't take seriously at all. And she did speculate. She doesn't know anyone, but she does speculate, did he have friends in the LE? Because it just seemed very strange that he got away with so much things. She said if she was breathing heavy or huffed wrong, Tony would, quote, beat the living shit out of her. And she told another story about once when neighbours were over for dinner, and she sat at the top of the table making a joke, little mess. And Tony said, get up, and she said, make me. So Tony caught the table and flipped it over on top of her in front of everyone, in front of the neighbours. We've seen this numerous times where he doesn't care who's around. She called him a textbook sociopath. The violence towards the women was much stronger than that towards Bart, and Kegan never got touched at all. He was the golden child. She told us a story about when she was aged about 9 to 13. She was outside. His little tag team partner, bloke, I'll email you on a link there. Tony had a BB gun and told her, start running. He said, I'm going to shoot you. You have a 5-second head start. She ran, terrified. Tony shot her in the elbow. She had to go to A&E to get it out, the pellet. It was lodged in on the bone on her elbow. And she had to make up some accident that Tony was firing the gun and it ricocheted off something. It's sick.
Easter can be a time of stress.
Yes, I am sick of stressed. What's the sad? It's sick, twisted man. She said he was very unpredictable. He used to come home from work and sit in his recliner and make Gwen take off his shoes and socks and rub his back. In the mornings, he would make her bend down. Come home from work, sit down, and make this little girl take off his shoes and socks. Rub his back. In the morning, he'd make her put on his shoes. Put on his shoes. Control, power. She doesn't remember, but her mother told her a story about Tony making her eat soap once. And I said she was a tough little girl, and she looked at him and said, I love it. So he made her eat the whole soap. Made them sleep in the car outside the door another night. He's killed animals in front of her. He was digging a hole to bury a cat, and the cat wasn't actually dead. The cat started moving and coming back to life. So he bashed it in the head until it died, in front of Gwen. There's another story about a dog that all the family talk about. She doesn't have a memory of it. I like the way she did that. She was very quick to clarify, I remember this, I don't remember this, but this is what I was told. But he went out the back and shot a dog. Multiple people have told her this story. She said he was capable of anything. She did say with her there was never sexual, it was always mental and physical. But we've seen the escalation with Tony throughout the years. She told us he spent 24 hours in jail once. Is that true, Chris? Because like even in that member stream, I wasn't going to. I did write it down, but I wasn't going to take that down because I was like, oh, she doesn't sound very sure on that, and I don't want to feed into any of the speculation because there is some mad stuff in Delphi, but then some of the stuff is turning out to be true. I wouldn't be surprised. But I wonder how high up, how much of a pull did he have, you know? They think he had some bit of a pull anyway. Because he just kept getting away with everything. But he came straight back and beat her mum. Dragged her from room to room, beating her. That was another one. Imagine that, like, the guards call him getting a take... the police calling him getting taken away from that. Locked up for 24 hours, and the first thing he does when he comes home is beat the living shit out of the mother. Kids screaming. Because of it. Her and Bart were screaming at him over it, and he turned to them and said if they don't shut up, he's going to blow their mother's head off. Another time at the Brown house, Tony hunted her again. This time he was chasing her on a dirt bike. This is twice that he's done this. She was terrified, tried to climb a tree to get away and to get him away from her, and she fell and broke her leg. She's asked them about Kegan, and she said he was very normal for a while, became very difficult as he grew up. Didn't go to school, was held back, and she thinks he dropped out around the 9th grade. Pretty normal other than the fact that he was a huge liar. Everyone knows him as a liar. He was the golden child of Tony. She says any abuse he suffered at Tony did not happen when he was a child. It would have been when he was an adult. And she thinks Kegan is lying about not talking to Tony. She says he's communicating with people outside of jail and he must have money on his books to do that. She also thought he was in Vegas for 4 years. Sherry, you off? Have fun and work. Thanks for joining. You can catch the replay anyway, and we'll chat in the members tab. And she, at one stage, wasn't far from him, and she tried to meet up. So she contacted him. It was planned, and on the day they were meant to meet up, he ghosted her because he was not in Vegas. They fell out before he was arrested because Kegan blew off going to his mother's birthday, said he had, quote, work. She has talked to the police about Kegan and Tony. Both of them, she said, are nice to the neighbours, and the neighbours wouldn't necessarily know who they are. But we've also seen it doesn't stop them. It doesn't stop Tony from flipping out in public at anyone. She said it's the first real consequence that Kegan has ever... It's Chris, do you have that handy? Do you have a screenshot of that? Would you be able to ping her over to us? Because I know his profile has gone on private as well. Ever faced in his life. And that her mother feels a great shame over giving birth to him. She agrees with Bart, saying the voice down the hill doesn't sound like Tony. He has way too much of a high-pitched voice. But she doesn't go as far as saying it was Kegan like Bart did. But I think Bart would know his voice a lot more. She seen Tony at a gas station a few years back, and he just looks at her and says, sorry for the way things were. Do you want some gas or cigarettes? So he knows, he acknowledged what kind of a person he was. He knows what he put those kids through, and he thinks a bit of gas or cigarettes might be able to fix it. Gwen has her own family now, and she seems to be doing okay. She's very close with Bart, which is nice to see, because he seems like a good guy as well. Tony tormented their mother, and she's terrified now that he's going to come after him again because the kids are speaking out. And you have to feel for her and the years of abuse she must have suffered. We know a lot about Tony. We know a lot about Tony now. I feel like no character. And I think he my bloke.
Oh, hello. I'm in here. How are you?
How are you? You're up. Sorry, I didn't even see you there.
No, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect.
Lovely. I'm just double checking. Yeah, all good. At the moment, mate, I'm going through all of this stuff here. Fig Mutant is a lovely bloke. He's a lovely guy. Spoke to someone that I've been in contact with for a little while. Sorry.
That was one of the friends, was it? Or a friend of Kegan?
Yeah, the one. She was on Greeno in December, and that was through me. And in the transcript with Barbara McDonald on HLN, there's a mention. It's like a friend on a podcast said this about you. Is this true? And that was that friend.
Okay.
And I arranged that. So like it felt pretty mad reading it. I was like, hold up, something I did is being used to help benefit the case. So clearly I'm doing something of use, which made me feel like it's not about me, but I was kind of shocked that it was even mentioned when talking to someone who potentially or most likely is involved with this.
They have that episode up on YouTube, no, Murder Sheet, I think, don't they? They put it up, I think, last week.
I
know
haven't
it
even
was
listened to part 2 of the police interview. I've done part 1 of the police interview, and I've read the HLN document. And in the HLN document, it says, an old friend of yours went on a podcast and said stuff about the dark web. Is this true? He went, no, I've never done that. And that was this friend who Fig spoke to, but no voice and no names. She used a fake name before, and she's just A, because otherwise it get confusing.
Which one is it there now?
Funny enough, sorry, I'm speaking about the dark web right now, and the stuff I'm editing right now.
Kayla.
Talking about. That's not Kayla. Murder Sheet. I haven't spoken to her. She knew about the Murder Sheet through me. I've spoken to her since December. She was like, I found her on Kegan's Facebook or Kegan's Facebook. Sorry, I'm still getting used to it.
I think I could be wrong, no, but maybe have a check of that podcast. But I think the one that Barbara McDonald was referring to was this episode.
All right. Well, then in that case, it wasn't. I apologize.
No. I could be wrong, but this was, or it could be the same girl as well, bro. Can we want to have a listen?
No, it's not Kayla. Her name's not Kayla.
That's just a name they're using. I'd say it wouldn't be Kayla.
But this one, I don't think is, because they found out about the Murder Sheet when part 1 of police interview came out, and I told them about it, and they were like, "Oh, I've not heard this." And then I asked what they thought about the Tony stuff. So I don't think it is them.
Yeah, that was weeks ago. This was episode 61. They're on 85 now.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been them because I told her.
Friends, so.
When did the part 1 for Kegan come out? What episode's that?
Oh, 80 something, I'd say.
No, it definitely isn't her then, mate.
Yeah.
She literally said she had no idea who Murder Sheet were until I sent a thing asking about Tony to her.
Because even when the Murder Sheet were going through the transcript of Barbara's one, they took it as their episode as well. They were like, "Oh, this must have been Kayla's story." So I'm not sure which friend they're talking about.
Well, she's talking about dark web here as well. I'll say what I see here. He offered money for photos of me. I never agreed to it.
Wait, can I take? Oh, wait, because I have all the stuff there. I wonder what. Will I make a slide for that?
I've got a load of pictures coming out later on. I'm literally editing the photos now because I've got to make sure that certain names aren't in here, and I've got to make sure that no private information comes out. But I can assure you, she's spoken before on her voice. I think she used a fake name, Catherine or something, but she's just A on here. I could be wrong but I assume Barbara McDonald was about me because they went on.
Or she thought it was about them.
They could be right. I didn't know about Murder Sheet until the police interview thing and the HLN document come out. But I've got a redacted version of the transcript without the big Murder Sheet logo on it. So they weren't the only ones to get the transcripts, but they do a good job.
No, what happened there was they released their episode, and I think they dropped it on a Saturday. They had part 1 out. And then
it was next day, yeah. Because I still haven't listened to it.
What happened was someone on Reddit started dropping an unredacted document. So to be fair to them, straight away what they did, because the document that they were dropping didn't have the victims' names redacted at all. So what Anya and Kevin did was sat down, recorded it straight away, and got part 2 out there, just so they could get their document out there and stop victims' names from actually being spread all over the place. They did a brilliant job on it. They reacted quickly there because the people who released that document on Reddit had everyone's name in it.
Without starting a war with any Redditors, because there's nice people on Reddit. I met Fig on Reddit. When me and Fig first spoke, the reason he ever knew who I was or got in contact with me is because I was posting on the Libyan Abbey subreddit when I was using it. And there's nice people on Reddit, but whenever I go on Reddit, it is literally 90% crazy. Just
there's a lot of
I haven't used
it. There's a lot of that in Delphi. Load of it, and a lot of those people now are kind of angry that the case seems to be going somewhere. It's like, here, what's wrong with you? Just because it didn't fit you're crazy, Terry. Do you know, we know what the FBI are looking at. We know what they're doing.
And that's what I'm trying to focus on is what police saying, what the FBI is saying. At the moment, I had 2 videos made on me by someone. I'm not even going to give them the benefit. Some crazy guy. Is that there's 2 photos that someone who was on the trails that day took, and it's of the bridge, one end and the other end. And there's nothing there. At first, it does look like there's a guy smoking under the bridge, but there's nothing there. It's a bunch of grass and shadows. And then the other side, they're like, look, the girl's body's under the bridge, and this is someone recording them, and I know who's recording them. And that's their whole channel. And I said, mate, there's nothing there. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. And I had 2 videos made on me about that. Like, it's just craziness. Like, no one cares about justice. They care about being right. And I don't like that.
And I think the Reddit, I don't know when it happened, but that turned a few months, a year or so back. I go on there now. The worst stuff I seen about Kelsey bloke was on Reddit. Like, horrible. It's not being moderated correctly at all. Whoever's looking after that.
You get some sort of anonymity on Reddit as well. You're just a username. You're not like. Yeah. Whereas on Facebook, people have the balls to use their full names and say this kind of stuff.
And I think a lot of people who were in this case, like you probably said, you came into it 2 years ago, did you?
Yeah, about mid-2020, April, I want to say.
A lot of people are probably, I was following this since the start to you, do you know? They feel like they have ownership over it because they followed it from the get-go. And because Anya and Kevin came in so hard and fast, I think they got a lot of people jealous on Reddit. I've seen people attacking them as well. I thought there was no need for it.
But literally, if you're the type of person to have an ego so big that you get jealous or you get defensive over a case that has nothing to do with you, you shouldn't really be involved in that.
Yeah.
There's no place for egos or that kind of stuff when you're discussing such a sensitive topic. That's why, like, I will admit, but back in my Reddit days, I thought I knew it all. I had one person who I thought it was, and I was like, this is the person, this is why, and this is all my proof. I even made a little Google Drive about who I thought it was. And like looking back on it, I just would have smacked myself in the mouth because like, I'm just, at the end of the day, we know as much as we're told. No one knows other than those involved what really happened.
Yeah.
So it's very scary and sinister that you get these types of people. What was it? True Crime Jesus messaged me the other day, and there's someone making videos about him, basically just mocking him, because what was it? He's made a video and they disagree with it. The craziest theory I see is the DP theory, and that's what everyone gets defensive about. They all think it's this one person.
I got jumped on because of that as well, because I made a video being like, he's nuts, stop it.
He's not, and because he made a Delphi high school or college project about where he went to the Monon High Bridge, they're like, oh wow, look, he went to this bridge, he killed 2 teenage girls.
Yeah,
batshit crazy.
No, you get it in every, and that's what I was saying to you the other day about, like, I have it in, I know you're not following it, but the Michael Vaughan case there's a lot of, that's the people who I'm calling weasels and stuff. Right, just get rid of them. Just get rid of them out of the chat. Just block them from commenting on the channel. Anyone that's going after that stuff. Same with Delphi. If anyone makes a comment on my videos about Kelsey, and I've got some nasty ones, I just get rid of them.
So I got one about Kelsey last night. It's disgusting. I had a bit of a pop, but I just sent them on their way out. I'm fed up of, like, I like to think I just want to talk about stuff. If we want to talk, we can talk. But there's some people who don't want to talk, and that's not my problem anymore.
I have a greater understanding now than ever, and getting more so every day, of why Grey Hughes is so cranky. Like, he was a tortured soul. Imagine what he put up with through all that. You know, you wouldn't see that side of it if you're just kind of popping in and out of a chat, but he'd have Kelsey. Kelsey could be in that chat sometimes. I think she mods on his channel, and then sometimes you'll get stuff like that coming in. You know.
I know she's a mod, but I know that she did an interview with Doug Carter on the channel. Because I watched that one. I think it's with Grey Hughes. He's probably a decent guy, yeah. But like, my first encounter with him, he hated me solely because he hated someone I was talking to. I don't even talk to that person anymore. But we're chill now.
Yeah, no, he's a tortured soul. Like, they tortured him for years. What they done to him, like.
I thought he was a bully. I won't lie. I thought he was a bully, but he seems like someone who's had so much stuff. And like, when I got into it, I can understand he's the way he is.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to pretend like I sit down and watch all his streams. I just I'm chill with him.
But he has his own thing going there, his own, like, he could go on and do Delphi and he'll get 5 times the viewers, but he doesn't. He does his own thing with his own community, does some good stuff, and just found his people.
Do you ever get comments saying, "You're not even American. Cover things in your own country"? Do you ever get that?
Yeah.
I've got that so much recently. I don't know what's caused it. The past 2 weeks, about like 10% of the comments I get from people I unblocked are, "You're not even American. Focus on your own cases." It's crazy, honestly. If I can understand the whole border crisis and how they treat other people, because I'm literally just a guy in England. I'm interested. I want to help. I'm very relaxed. I'm chill about it all. I'm very calm about it all. It's like, oh, this person's British. No, get out of my flipping country's cases. It's just quite weird.
People just, especially I think over in the States, it's trickling down from politics. They're very racist and people, but nationalist when it comes to that stuff. I had people give me, like, just if they disagree with me slightly on a slightly different detail, they get so angry with me and telling me that they're unsubbing and blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, like, it's okay to have different opinions on people. It's okay.
I like respectful opinions. Like, even if I don't agree with you, if you're respectful and we can understand each other's side,
yeah, of course,
and we
that's how you learn stuff, you know. Otherwise, nobody would learn anything. It's wrong.
Exactly that. And the thing is, I've just seen a comment from Anna saying, I mean, I don't. KK wouldn't be in jail if it weren't for you. I could think is he got arrested in 2020, but I tipped in someone who is friends with Tony Kline, works with Tony Kline, and I spoke to someone who is a pillar of the community in Kokomo. But again, I'm not. I wish I could, but I can't say who these people are upon request. I do ask them beforehand. But
give me some notes here on your friend of Kegan. That's not murder.
All right, yeah. So basically, let me see how far in I am because I've got 3 windows open. I'm trying to I'm almost done doing it. I won't lie. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more questions, and I've got about 12 JPEG images. So the last bits I haven't done yet, but I'm doing a stream of Fig because Fig was the one who spoke to this person because I let him do it. He's much better at speaking than I am. I kind of waffle on and forget things. But let me just make a note of where I am on here, and I'll go through it with you. And also, if I like accidentally swear, it's not a bad thing for your channel, no.
No, I just listened back to some of my videos there. I didn't realize how much I was swearing in some of them.
All right. I know some people like I tend to say the odd swear without even meaning to, just because of like. All right, here we go. I've marked where I am. I'll go through the pictures. Let me double check there's nothing at the end because I haven't even read the bottom part yet. I'm reading it as I edit it, and I need to make sure no names come out.
I'm trying to put everything I have into this document, just going through the story of what happened, things coming out, and then every piece of information that I kind of have on Tony in particularly and Kegan, and first-hand witness accounts.
Well, I've got something interesting. I said it in the chat. I try and figure out something I've already like edited. I just realized there's a name in here, so let me quickly do this before I forget this certain document. Flipping about all the stomach pictures of Tony. He likes the stomach pictures.
Yes, and that's something I'm missing from there because I was actually going through it while ago, and I didn't call out him biting his ex-wife on the stomach. That's important.
This Tony, the first thing this girl ever told me was that she stopped talking to Kegan because she went around for the last time once, and Tony said, "Oh, me and Kegan should tag team you, like take turns on her sexually." That was
to her.
Yeah, and that's why she distanced from them because they were longtime family friends. She said she saw Kegan as a brother growing up. But she said that Tony said that to her in front of Kegan. They were both laughing about it. That's the last time she ever went around the house. It's because they wanted to tag team her, take turns on her. It's not in this thing, I don't think, but she said that to me prior, and it's on another.
Did she use the word tag team or did she say threesome?
She said tag team.
Did she?
Because like I wouldn't even know what to call that, taking turns with someone. And there's also, what was it that Kegan lied about him and his dad taking turns doing the stepsister or something. So like it lined up, and I found out about the stepsister thing after I got told about, oh yeah, Tony said he wants to tag team me with Kegan in front of me. That's the last time I went around.
But that was not the stepsister overall. That was only a profile that he had. He was saying stepsister. It was a different name as well. Emily Ann, was it?
I think he said it was Emily. Him and his. I can't remember who said what, but one of them, Tony or Kegan, said, yeah, me and my dad, we were both doing my stepsister.
So there was one profile found on the devices that they had. They got Kegan's devices. One of the profile was called Emily Ann.
Yeah, there was two of them, Emily Ann 45 and Emily Ann.
But Emily Ann is not the stepsister's name.
No, it's Kegan's uncle's daughter. He's the cousin.
And there was conversations on that device. It was probably Kegan or Kegan having those conversations. So text messages where they were discussing having sex with Kegan and her father at the same time. But there's little context around that. I'm just wary of that because I don't want anyone to be thinking that the stepsister is directly involved in this sort of stuff. You know, I don't think she is at all.
But that also, I found this person through the friends list, and she doesn't talk to anyone but me and Fig, which is quite an honor, really. But it's because like I was respectful, and it was originally me saying, "Do you think Kegan's bridge guy?" Because I saw her on like the friends list, and she like unfriended, and I saw she was making posts saying this scumbag I used to hang out with him. But I literally I can't say like I could say she's linked to the transcripts that's come out, and that she was interviewed by law enforcement before the stuff came out, like the transcripts, because they found nude photos of her on the family computer and a load of the phones.
Jesus.
And she's connected to the person who had a ski mask come up to her window as well, which I only found out through this.
And Kegan knows her as well, but like the thing with that is Kegan wouldn't need to ask for an address. He knows where she lives. Tony doesn't. He'll ask for an address.
They said it happened in Galveston, but the name they gave isn't of the relative that lives in Galveston. It's of someone else that's also a relative. So she is speaking to one of them about it, but she's pretty sure she knows which one it is. But it's between two of her family members. But I'm trying my hardest, like not to. I've edited everything out, so like none of this comes out. There's no names.
Take your time with that stuff to make sure you don't have any names or anything on it.
That's why I'm going through the pictures, because if I read the bottom part, I'll say a name on accident. Like the bottom part I'm looking at now, there's more names than I've seen. But yeah, she's linked to the document. She had police come to her house to interview her before all of this came out. I think the start of 2020 and the end of 2020. So it was like before the arrest and after the arrest, like right when the arrest happened. So when the interviews were happening, she would have been interviewed just before they actually did that interview with Kegan. And now the transcripts come out for the end of 2020. And it was because, flip sake, one was before the interview, one was after. But it was both in 2020. Because they came back to her and said, he's mentioned people in your family a lot and say you're really close. And they wanted to know if her brother had a certain car and would have given Kegan any lifts. Interesting. So I'll try and find the stomach part. That's what I'm trying to find.
Or do ya?
Huh?
Yeah, the stomach is the one that I'm missing out of that. I'd like to. I think that's going to play a part.
And we found out which account was messaging her. She said that fake accounts were made to message her and ask for nudes and like sext her. And it was the one that's the mask that is here, the Lucas account. Fig sent her a video of all of Kegan's fake accounts that are known. And the second she saw the Lucas account of like the emo, she's like, that's the one he was using on Snapchat. Do I think Tony Kline's going to face an arrest? I think he's involved, so he'll probably get like at least child exploitation charges. At the very, very least. And the TCB talks to Figs. What's this?
I think I know what you mean, Libertarian, about Gray. He can't come across like that, and he can bark at people, but I just think as well he was broken by trolls. Like,
Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of fake accounts like joking about PayPal and he took a loan out, but I know nothing about it. When he got doxxed by another creator, I'm not going to give the benefit of naming. Even this was when Gray didn't like me, and I saw that he got doxxed, and it was on a community page about like where literally a picture of his house and the
I see
address.
that. I see that.
Yeah, I said you take that down right now, man. Like I don't give a monkey's what I think about him or what he thinks about me. You take that down. You don't post pictures of someone's house like that. So I feel
I've
for him in that
no time for that
department.
guy.
No, I don't anymore. Unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff that's come out, and I just don't. But if I talk about it, I get called all sorts of names. I don't want drama.
Yeah, you're doing well at staying out of that. That's what I meant with Delphi and the crazies, like, because you can get sucked up into that stuff real fast, like.
Yeah, there's some great people. Cold Truth is a good one. I like Cold Truth. She's very nice. This is a really long part. Let me double check in the actual Word document where it is. And I'll just read it from the Word document because I'm having a hard time reading these pictures and talking at the same time.
I wish with Gray, Libertarian, that I wish he talked about the transcripts when they came out. He just kind of read them, boringly read them, worse than murder sheet for 3 days.
I tried doing that the other night, and then I got distracted from new information. Did you see the link in 2010 in Young America? A man in a black ski mask came out of a white van to try and kidnap a girl in front of her mum, and then a week after, a man in a ski mask went to their window. And this is 2010 Young America, where Kegan was. And if you haven't, I'll get you the link.
Oh, see, I don't think that was Kegan.
I don't think it was Kegan. I think it was Tony. The attorney apparently is known for it. Wait. Flipping hell. I had to use a proxy though. I had to use a website where I had an American VPN because it says like error 451. This is not available in your country. All right, so I'll read it from the Word document because I'm having a hard time finding it. I've got 12 pictures here from like a couple of questions. And so, did Kegan try and use Anthony Schott's account to talk to you? No, he didn't. But I had contact with the other person or persons using the Snapchat account because I was asked if I'd sleep with his dad. And the way the other person spoke was not Kegan. I could always know it's a different person because they would ask for pictures of my stomach.
What you said... I thought she was a long-term friend.
She was, and then she stopped talking because of the comment Tony made, and then Kegan would use fake accounts to try and get nudes from her. And then at one time, the account was saying, "Would you sleep with my dad? And can I have pictures of your stomach?" Nice person, but it's all linked because she says all of this. And then you hear other stuff where it links, like the me and my dad did the stepsister. And then she told me before I even knew that, Tony said he wanted to tag team me in front of Kegan. And then the stomach things, all of this and that. And she is a confirmed friend. There's photos of them together, and she was on the friends list, so I found her.
Definitely legit, yeah?
Huh?
It's definitely legit, is it?
Well, I found her from Kegan's Facebook the day it came out saying this is the person behind Anthony Schott's profile. So I went, Kegan Kline, and I messaged a lot of people, but this is the only one who'd speak to me because she wanted to know.
Any receipts? Is there any chance could be making her up? I'm not saying she is or anything.
I doubt it highly because she was interviewed by law enforcement for nude pictures of her being found.
Well, that's what she told you.
Yeah, but also her family members have verified her family members as people that are in the transcript. And her family name is mentioned by Kegan in the transcript, unredacted.
Okay.
So it's like, I believed her, and I know for a fact. Like, I believed her versus no.
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask Vic to interview her if I even had a shed of doubt because I don't want misinformation coming out. And what was it? He sent a link saying, this is all the catfish profiles he used that we know of. She said, yes, I watched this. And she said, I just watched that video of the fake accounts. It was Lucas' account he used to message me and get nudes from me. So he was using fake accounts to try and talk to her. And another thing, he contacted this girl's mother saying, I have information on your cousin's murder, because her cousin was killed.
As who? As Kegan or Tony or
Kegan himself reached out to the mother of the girl, because the girl won't talk to him, and said, I have information on this person's murder. I need to talk to her. And then she was like, she spoke to him again for the first time in a long time, saying, well, what do you know? Why are you trying to talk to me? And he says, I just want to talk to you. I don't know anything. Apparently he'd lie about cancer as well a lot in school. Lie about having a Lamborghini and being really rich, being in a famous band.
He's a compulsive liar.
Yeah, he's done it since he was real young.
But even the things with Bart and Gwen.
She told me it was Bart who had his head smashed into the toilet before Bart did that interview. Because everyone was saying, look, they're talking about Kegan about having his head smashed in.
Yeah.
But she told me the second she heard it on Murder Sheet, that isn't Kegan who had his head smashed in the toilet. That's Bart. I know who Bart is. And she didn't even know if Bart was his real name or not, but she knew it was him.
What was I going to write down there? The second one. Kegan himself reached out to her mother, just liar.
Yeah, and she also told me that like he would never talk about Tony growing up. Never talk about him. Which is really confusing considering that they're like a team of nonces. She doesn't think Kegan's bridge guy, the guy on the bridge, and she doesn't think it's Tony's voice. But she thinks that they're definitely involved.
I think it's either Tony. I'm moving away now from Tony on his own, just over Bart and the voice, and everyone saying the voice isn't him. But
you've got to remember, man.
I think Tony is definitely there. It's just a case of was Kegan.
Tony had a friend who was willing to stalk a little girl, of which whose mother he had an abuse charge.
But sure, he stalked his own daughter.
No, you posted this. His criminal record, he stalked the daughter of the woman he assaulted with a friend. So he was in this van and he turns to a friend and he goes, let's stalk this little 11-year-old. And that friend's just like, yeah, all right, I'll do that. Yeah.
And that had to go to court and get a protection order for that child as well.
But he had friends who were just like, sure, I'll do that. Sounds like a walk in the park. So he knows people who are as sick as himself. And he's also, Tony, I don't know if you know this, mate, but Tony was a very good friend of ex-Peru, Miami County chief of police, who then moved to Las Vegas and died in 2018.
Somebody was saying that in the chat because I wrote down I was hesitating to write that down because Gwen actually mentioned that.
So did this girl. She gave me the name of him and everything. She said, yeah, Tony was really close with this police officer. He was chief of police and he moved to Las Vegas, came back to visit in 2018 and died. But what was it? CD sent me a load of information on him, but I can't remember at the top of my head. Because CD's an ex-cop. He can find out anything if you got his name and his whereabouts. But the fact he's really cozy with a cop who then moved to Las Vegas, it's just a very strange thing. I'm not saying the cop's involved, but it's just very...
Gwen didn't say that. She said she didn't know, but she thought it was weird that he always got away with things, and she was kind of hesitating saying it.
This girl said, I don't understand how he's not in prison. And that's what made her remember the cop's name and tell me, like, I feel like you should look into this person because they were really good friends, really cozy. He was I believe it was chief of police. Don't take the chief of police verbatim, but he was a police officer. I have a photo of him. I have his name. And the girl I speak to mentions him a lot because she really feels as if there's something to that. All right, so I've just done the 13th one. I'm trying to make it look as if it's a transcript, so then also it's not just a Word document.
Yeah.
And I got to make sure there's no names in here because I just got sent the raw replies by Fig. So I even have to correct all the spelling mistakes, like the autocorrect and punctuation. I mean, it's very nuts because this is literally what like the Murder Sheet were doing, and I'm sat here doing something very similar.
Yeah, but sure, it just goes to show, even with them, they were just off doing their, oh my God, what do they call it? The murder sheet, the restaurant murders before they stepped their foot in Delphi, and now they're thrown into it in the middle of it. I think they're going to get. I think they're after doing an incredible job, and I think they're going to get a lot of more people kind of reach out to them here now in the next couple of weeks. So
My biggest fear is just jeopardizing the
get Tony on.
Jeopardizing the case and stuff. Like what was it? Tainting the jury or something. That's the biggest worry of mine.
Yeah, he's watching all this stuff as well, though, like and listening, going off his personality. Will we drop a link? Tony, are you there? Do you want to come up?
I heard his voice, and his voice is very weird. Did you hear his voicemail? Tony's voicemail. What he says in it.
Have you got it?
It was on Fig Stream because
from the court one, from when he was stalking that woman, or a new one.
His current number that he used, because it dialed, it rung, and it went to a voicemail. And his voicemail, he just goes 10 years in Alaska, and it goes beep. And we're trying to figure out what the hell that means, or if that's like a weird code. But 10 years in Alaska, Anthony Shots, it says Alaska born, Alaska to Indiana. And then Tony Kline's voicemail literally just says 10 years in Alaska. So it's like, I would just say like, yo, it's Cal, leave a message. What's this? The police chief I'm talking about isn't the one that bloke is talking about. I'm talking about someone with the initials of J and K. And CD gave me a lot of information on him. And that's what I was trying to do. I'm kind of multitasking it. I don't think I'm making it for 10:30 because I've still got things to do. So I'll drop Fig an email while I find it.
Oh, Sparksy, I seen emails. I must come back to you on an email about that other stuff. I think you're slightly off, but not on anything you said, but just on one small little thing. I'll get back to you there later on, tonight or in the morning on that. Thanks for that, though. What was this? The 2005 harassed ex-daughter. Oh, guys, there's a lot of stuff. I'm trying not to get. That's why I'm glued to this and taking down the stuff I can on first.
Typing too loud, am I?
Kegan. What?
Sorry, I'm typing like a mad lad. I just didn't want to be loud.
What I'd like to know is, why did Barbara MacDonald ask him, does he know Ron Logan? And I hate even asking that. I have made a video on it because if I do, I'm just going to get a lot of some mad stuff. But
it might be just to see his reaction, mate. You know, like, because what is it? If you've just,
I think she knew something. I think she knows something. I think everyone's overlooking that. The way she said it, and then the way she said interesting afterwards. I'd love to ask the murder sheet about that.
Well, the thing is, in interrogations, I know this. I can't remember her name. I think it's Stephanie something. And there's a whole video. JCS, the body language expert. He did it on this woman who murdered her ex-husband's then girlfriend.
Jim Can't Swim, JCS channel, is it?
Yeah.
It's brilliant. Brilliant.
The one about the sociopath, and it's like got a camera of her looked down. She's like, oh gee, I don't remember. But like when you say a name, they said a name incorrectly, purposefully, just to see how she would react. Because if you're being told the name of someone you've just killed, your brain will be fight or flight, and you'll be like, stuttering around, eyes wide open, panicking. So if you said, do you know Ron Logan? If Kegan actually like did something or was involved, they could just be seeing a reaction like, oh, that's the property I killed him on, or that's the guy who owned the land where these girls got killed. That kind of thing, just to see a reaction. Yeah.
I just wouldn't be. Ron's dead, isn't he? He died.
He died at the start of this year. I can't remember what month. I think it might have been February or March. No, not March. January.
It's okay, so to say stuff like this. Well, not stuff like this, but I wouldn't if I wouldn't be shocked if something came out very soon to say that Tony and Ron knew each other in some way.
I got someone I could possibly ask, but I don't know anything about Ron and Tony knowing one another. I just got to quickly respond. I've got 20% sorted. I might have to do this live stream with Fig tomorrow, just so Fig's in there, and we're 110%. Make sure we don't say anything no one wants. No one wants us to say. Make sure that everything's good. Make sure that we got a good time. Make sure everyone knows and it's scheduled and that. So I think if we were to rush it right now and we say one wrong thing and it upsets the person, I just don't want to be in that position. I'd rather be safe than sorry. But I don't mind saying certain things that I know for a fact I've edited here for the time being, because I've shared this stream as well. If anyone's interested, they would come over and listen to this.
Somebody was saying there in the chat about being in the UK and would love to go over just to kind of honor the girls. But I am. Have you ever gone to a place, a case you're following, a kind of crime scene in an area?
I am going to go. I've been to where Joanna Yates got choked to death, and my friend's dad, he sent me a message saying, "Well, I went to the BBC the other day for like a possible job."
Come here, I've seen your photographs. Very fancy. Look at you.
What, me and my green and black shirt with that big smirk on my face, man.
I thought for a second that it was like a green screen or something behind you. I was like, what's he doing?
No.
No, that's legit. What's he doing?
I know. I've had so many messages saying, "Why have you photoshopped this? Who even is that guy?" And I was like, "Photoshop, man. I was there operating the cameras for the 6 o'clock news."
People were very worried about what job you had or what you were doing or how high up you were. They were very worried. I seen that.
I'm a technical operator. Hopefully, they were picking between me and one other person or two other people, and the other guy would have finished around 7 today. So I probably have an email coming my way in the next couple of days to figure out if I've got a job or if it was just an experience kind of thing. I've not got an email yet, but I'm pretty hopeful because they all seem to like me. And what was it? The news presenter shouted me out on his Twitter and even said, "Pleasure to meet True Crime Bloke. Hopefully he comes back."
They have to hire her now if they're putting it out on their Twitter. Like they have to. They talk about it. They're like, we'll keep him around.
The guy I took a photo with, he what was it? I'll get the link. Awesome to meet True Crime Bloke. Hopefully back with us soon. I'll send you the status, mate.
Can you put up my channel on the news?
You know, I'll talk about it. If it ever gets to a true crime thing and it's on the Points West, just be like, over in Ireland, over in America, we got a fake mutant whose cousin was murdered and wants to help other people. And over in Ireland, I think his name is Navillus.
I think, yeah, I get in trouble over that. Not trouble, but I don't even realize the way I'm pronouncing things sometimes.
No, it's not even. It's just it's cool. Don't ever think I'm taking the mickey because I flipping love it.
But I was saying there about crime scenes. I think if people weren't even following Delphi and went there, I guarantee you'd get a weird deja vu feeling, just because you've seen it so much and you know it so much.
And to go.
I've been to one or two where it's like, I've been here before, but I haven't. I've just looked at photographs and Googled Earth so many times. It feels like that. But it is a weird kind of feeling. I would too. This is creepy, but I'd love to do like a tour of even that sort of thing in America, you know? All the kind of different crime scene houses. But they're boring stuff, but they're just be so interesting for me to see. I'd be fascinated by some of that stuff.
Bookworm is a technical operator too. I don't know if he's at BBC or not, but that's pretty bloody amazing. On the police officer I'm talking about, there's a book from a case in 1992 where a wife murders the husband. She stole the husband's son's handgun and blasted him. First on the scene was Tony's cop friend, and there was a book about it. And then that cop was a deputy in Miami County, not Peru. Waiting on clarification. I'm going to call Miami County to inquire by using the book to see what rank he is. Possibly his daughter and niece is a K9 officer in the police, Indiana State Police.
Whoa.
He works at Chrysler, like Tony does. So this is the cop who also moved to Las Vegas. Worked at Chrysler as a warehouse manager.
Have you a video on this?
No.
I need to get on that.
I know.
Just a quick 5-6 minute information, because people are looking for this stuff there.
Yeah, well, this is something CD sent, so I wasn't sure what we were going to do with it. Yeah. 3-hour standoff in Kokomo, 20 officers and a SWAT team. a relative of the cop was arrested for possession of methamphetamine and resisting arrest. Working on further. So it's still like uncovering some stuff about him. But I don't mind saying this, especially here.
God, it looks like there is connections there, all right, so like.
But that is Tony's cop friend who also worked at Chrysler. And Tony works at Chrysler. And he moved to Las Vegas. And Tony and Kegan love Las Vegas. So...
Can't be too coincidental, like.
Yeah, I got to quickly ask this. Because there's two names here. I'm not sure if this is friend 1 or friend 2's name. Because literally, as I said, I haven't even read or listened to the transcript. Dude, there's a lot of stuff in this. I told you some bits and bobs. The stomach part was the part that really stood out. The fact she said that Tony wanted to tag team her before any of the other stuff come out about stepsister and other stuff. The fact Ellie came to her before Kegan's arrest saying, look, we want to know what you know. Does your brother have this certain vehicle? And then afterwards, we found a load of nude photos of you on family computer and a load of phones.
Jesus, look. Do they hold? What happens when court with that stuff? Like, they can't be just showing nude photographs of victims.
No, definitely. Well, they show bodies in a murder case. They show dead bodies. But I don't know anything about nude photos being shown in court.
Yeah, I suppose just blur them, like, maybe, or something.
But what was it in the Chris Watts case where he literally dunks his kids in an oil tank? If it went to a jury trial, they would have shown the photos of these two girls whose skin was peeled off by oil. So I mean, they do show the jury things, but nude photographs, I'm not sure. Maybe it's just to clarify, like the.
Do you think Nicole was involved?
Nicole, who's Nicole?
Nicole
what?
Kessinger, his mistress.
Oh, Chris Watts was sort of, no, she's a dodgy woman. Her phone pinged in the area. Her vehicle description was out front, declared by a neighbor, and I don't think she's innocent. You wouldn't. And what was it? There's a rumor that she smirked in the courtroom because she was there in court. But I think she's
the only
very...
morning that she didn't call him on his way to work as well. Do you know what puts me off it?
She ate prior, didn't she? The night before, they were found out because they were eating. It was $60 worth of food, and
$60, and she was googling anal sex before it, all that stuff.
Oh, I don't know about the anal, man. I know that it's like, oh, I had no idea he was still married. I thought he was getting divorced, and it's like, man, I'm cheating with, or having an affair with, wants to leave his wife. It's not is leaving wife, it's wants to leave. So she's a liar, and her phone pinged in the area, and what you've just said as well. That's
she was googling him and Shanann a long time before she even met him.
Yeah.
So she was searching. I don't know. Do you know what puts me off it is I know how much I don't know about it as well. But who's that guy from UK who fell out with the family big time?
Oh, Armchair Detective.
What is going on there?
I don't know. I spoke to him. He gave me like a little show about the Fred West thing because one of my family friends was killed by Fred West. They haven't found the body yet. And
how did they know? How did they know she was killed by him?
Because he told his son. He said, "Oh, that girl, Mary Bastone." I didn't see why the son, because he killed his daughter as well. He choked his daughter to death, and he told his son, "I killed these girls," and there's a few of them whose bodies are still not found. But he worked at the cafe where they were digging up because he was a builder. So he was working on the cafe in the toilets, and there's a hollow space underneath the toilets, and they found the fabric of this girl's coat in the past year.
Jesus.
But her name is Mary Bastone. So it's all but confirmed he did it, but he told people he did it, and her body is still not found. She was 15, went missing near the Poppin' Cafe, where she was working there, and he worked on the cafe himself as a builder. In 1968. So my mum was a toddler at that time. But What was it? One of his vehicles matched the description of the vehicle she was seen getting into.
Yeah, so just connections there. So obviously strong.
Yeah.
Go back to AD. How did he fall out with the family? Because I don't understand how. Why didn't he back off if they're coming? Like, did he write a book and they sued him?
I know he's wrote a book. I don't know if he's been sued. I just know that he talks about the case daily. And to be honest, I'm not saying anything because I'm not going to make declarations about things I'm not 100% on. But I don't get how he does daily videos on a case from 2018, and then
seems a bit possessed by it, and that puts me off talking about any of the stuff.
But he's banned Frankie Ruzic and Frankie Ruzic Jr., which is Shanann's mum and dad, from his channel. So they were talking in the chat, trying to talk to him, and he just banned them. And that's the one thing that I'm like, why you're talking about getting justice for this woman and you're treating her family poorly.
Yeah, I've
one thing I don't understand. I don't understand that, but he did give me the time of day. He seemed chill to me, but I don't know enough about him to figure it out. I got told not to go on it, but
why doesn't her family? They don't believe that Nicole was involved at all.
Because the police say so. They said the police looked into her, and they trust the investigators and not a load of people online, which I fully understand.
I do too, but how was AD? He must have been harassing them in some way.
I think there is something there, but I don't know enough about it. When I found out about what was it? All right, so Frankie Ruzic Jr., Shanann's brother, he has a YouTube video called "For You, AD, and All the Other Evil Miserable Souls," and I think he was saying like, "You're lying about us. You ban the family. You're treating us horribly." Stuff like that. I'll quickly listen to it and see what he says.
I'd back off even if I thought something. If the family was coming out like that, like Jesus.
Me and my dad were on AD's channel. We got blocked like usual because he doesn't want to listen to us and never will. He just wants the money and he wants popularity. Everyone is saying I'm not real. Here I am, assholes. How's this for you? I'll send you the link. And he said, "Leave me and my family alone and stop lying."
Guys, what do you think in the chat? Do you think Nicole is involved? Or is it nonsense?
She told a few lies. And her phone pinged in the area. But the one thing that I would say regarding that, if she searched up anal sex, I know for a fact that Chris said when Shanann came in, they had sex, went to sleep, woke up, and it all happened. But if she searched up, it means he would have done two people in the space of a few hours in the house. So
I think he was being brazen. I think he knew because he didn't try to hide the dinner on the receipts or anything. And I think he was going home for...
She's searching that kind of thing up, and then he's also having, in his words, having sex with Shanann when she comes in about 3 or 4 a.m.
No, they had a fight straight away. There was no. She went home for a fight. I think there was no sex.
But he said he had sex that night, so it makes you wonder if he was having sex with someone else that night. But where would they be doing it if not their own household? Maybe they got walked in on or something. But again, I don't know because this is just like me thinking. That's a good way of putting it, wishful thinking. NK was a gun, CW pulled the trigger. I think she's sketchy.
She is sketchy, isn't she? Like all her Google search looking up, I don't know. The fact that she Googled so much of him and her before she even got that job and moved there. Like he was kind of targeted, the way she communicated with him about pretending not to know about his wife and pretending not to know she was pregnant and married. I don't know. She's dodgy. She's very dodgy.
Cal, you don't have a deep grip in this case, mate. No, I know I don't. I've just watched like the Netflix documentary, and I don't know. It's really weird to me because as someone who's I don't have a bucket list, but I got like a I would love to be a good dad, love to be a good granddad before I die. And then I look at the videos where it's like he's got a beautiful family, and then he just decimates them. Yeah. Like that's the thing that like intrigues me. But again, I don't know.
He wanted a new life. He was
leave a letter
having fun with her, and he was like, "I'm getting rid of them all." I think that's good. Like even Amy, she's a liar, but she was clear by LE. The killer is in jail until he dies. The case is done and dusted. it did kind of get wrapped up very kind of fast. I think that's what probably kind of happened to people, that maybe they were pining for details from a trial and the fact that they didn't get it. And then it kind of goes into other things about the company that he was working for as well. Weren't they involved in a big merger at the time? They didn't want. I don't know. I obviously they must have looking into it. Like,
I know that she lied about a few things regarding the affair, but I can't say anything about her being involved. But I do say that there's some weird things. But if she's been cleared, they clearly have enough evidence because they wouldn't let her walk through. But I don't know. It's just a very weird one.
I think it was because it was just wrapped up so quickly. People were like, "Whoa."
These channels will explain the whole ID thing. TBT2 Truth Justice. See, I don't know. Again, I don't know enough to. I can say what I think and what I do know, but I can't say anything about what I don't know because I'll just be chatting rubbish. Armchair detective caught stealing. What? There's a whole channel dedicated to exposing him by the looks of it. Armchair detective. Wow, this whole channel is literally just armchair detective expose.
See, and that's what puts me off ever. I never talked about Chris Watts or anything before because I know how much I don't know as well.
Yes,
it's very frustrating watching the dogs. Did you see that when the dogs are around the back and they're being dragged over to the house where they actually found some of his clothes, and whoever was handling these sniffer dogs was terrible at their job. I found all that stuff kind of interesting, but I haven't gone. He puts me off it, to be honest, because I'm like, whoa, that's a bit intense. Him going after the family like that and streaming every night of the week. I seen him on one stream, be like, this is my last ever stream on this stuff. And then I went on about 3, 4, 5 weeks later, and that was he was obviously back on the horse, back on talking about it.
I again, man, I know bits and bobs, but I can't ever like pretend like I know it all, and I don't. Even with Delphi, I don't know it all. No one knows it all, apart from say the people who committed it.
Yeah, but once you know how much you don't know, that's half the battle, you know. Because some people think that they know it all. Like.
I love to talk about stuff as long as respectful. But as of now, I was kind of like talking about anyone who was mentioned, but now, as of now, if it's not being like spoken about by police, it's most likely innocent people being accused, and I want no part in potentially scaring someone, getting someone hurt, spreading misinformation. That is the last thing I ever want to do. Ever. So,
are you going? You'll have more of this stuff on Figs tomorrow, is it?
I think it's a Figs coming on to mine. We were going to do it tonight 10:30, but I'm not even finished doing it yet. And I messaged the girl to make sure that she's 100% comfortable in everything I'm saying, because I don't want to have to say like one word in that shouldn't be there, or like no, don't mention this part, even though I may have thought it's okay to add, because I'm any like reference to who she is. It's a female friend. It was found on Kegan's Facebook. She unfriended Kegan after I started talking to her, because I saw a load of posts that she made. That's how I added her, saying that oh wow, I can't believe I was so close with this scumbag growing up. He could have killed these 2 girls. So it was one of the shared posts she did.
What's her actual thoughts on it? Do they think one of them involved, two of them involved?
She thinks Kegan and Tony are pedophiles involved in child porn. And she thinks that they must have some connection to the double homicide. But she doesn't think... What was it? I'll go back to this part here, because this was a recent one I did.
She doesn't think Kegan's capable, is it?
She says she was very respectful, which is funny, like to me, that she was respectful about it. Kegan has always been chunky, and even at his smallest, he's still bigger than Bridge Guy. I find it highly unlikely he could walk a mile, let alone a trail and a bridge, and murder 2 teenagers. I don't want to be rude or disrespectful, but the man is literally a bum. He did nothing but sit around on computers or Xbox for as long as I've known him. 0 physical activity. He's never had the manly voice most guys have. He's always had a very high-pitched voice. Basically just calling him a fat bastard who couldn't walk the bridge, let alone control 2 girls.
But Bart is very strong on his voice.
He could be, but he might have been there, but he wouldn't have been bridge guy.
Yeah.
He might have been like elsewhere, which would
Yeah.
lead to like a group thing.
I
But
think there's a good chance Tony was bridge guy and Kegan was waiting.
I think the voice could be someone else, but police say no. The voice is that of the man in the video. Yeah. Frankie was put offline with the latest video. We had the audio for years. He made a fuss for some reason.
I'm not sure about that bloke. I think they've been very careful. I could be wrong. I need to go back and actually check this, but I think they. I'm thinking of it when I said it. That they were very careful to say they think Bridge Guy is the murderer, but I think they hesitated in saying Bridge Guy is the voice.
Well, I'll tell you this much. Well, the thing is as well, if it's not Kegan, it's Kegan's voice. It doesn't. But what's it? Huh?
The tag team, Kegan Kline?
Tag team? No. If they're saying the voice is Bridge Guy, and this person's saying I don't think he's Bridge Guy, he's a fat slob.
I don't think the voice and Bridge Guy are the same person.
If it's Kegan's voice, I don't think Kegan's Bridge Guy, but he might have been there, is what I'm trying to say. But the police say the voice is that of the Bridge Guy, which would make it not Kegan.
Did they say that though? I thought they said Bridge Guy is the killer, not linking the voice to Bridge Guy. Or do they definitely link them?
Well, they said it in the press conference where they said the murderers of Abby and Libby. That was the 2017, the first one. I'll try to get it now. This is the person we believe responsible. We want to find the murderers of these two little girls. They were saying murderers a lot in this one. I'll go through the comments, then control F it, so I'm not scrolling and reading.
Who do you think would know Kegan's voice? I think I've seen.
Yeah.
Brenda. Hi, Brenda.
This girl grew up with Kegan and considered him brotherly, like as a brother.
But his actual brother thinks it was his voice. And I wonder, I know his sister says no.
Well, sister says no. This person didn't. She said, I'm not too sure about him sounding like him, but he's not. I don't think he's a person on the bridge. He's too much of a slob. Is pretty much what she said. So she didn't comment on the voice, but she said the video doesn't seem to be him.
I think Bart would definitely know his voice a lot better. I think they used to play video games or COD online as well. So if you've someone, like you know yourself, if you're playing that online, you'll understand someone's voice when they're hyped up or...
Yeah. Again, she also said he had a very high-pitched voice. Whereas...
About Tony.
Oh no, Kegan as well. He's had zero physical activity. Kegan has never had the manly voice most guys have. He's always had a very high-pitched voice. So he's 27 now. I mean, I guess I can understand. He kind of sounds... I don't know. But this is what she says. This is just what she says. This is nothing from my mouth. I've sent you a link. If you go to 142, this is a press conference. They say, we want to find the murderers of these two little girls. Which could have been a slip-up, but it makes you wonder. Maybe they're like, oh, we shouldn't say murderers. We should try and not show our hand. Because they like saying that. We don't want to show our cards or our hand. Hey, misbehaved. How are you, lovely? Fancy seeing you here. You sent me an email about doing a live. I'm down for whatever, whenever. This stream with Fig though, that'll be tomorrow because it's 11 for us. I'm not even finished yet. I got carried away. His voice didn't sound high pitched in the interview with Barbara. Yeah, but he's also 5 years older, and this as I said, she could be wrong in the sense that she grew up with him and then hadn't spoken to him for years because Tony said me and Kegan should tag team you, take teams on you. So, or take turns. I think I said teams. Keegan's girlfriend would be a good person to ask. She would, but I don't even know who she is. Tony's definitely got the high-pitched voice. Like I heard his other voicemail. Not the one where he goes 10 years in Alaska, which is supposedly him. but he like talks like this, like really gravelly, high pitched, like a
That's brilliant. I love it.
yeah. Well, yeah. See that? Oh, so someone who said I had voice lessons. Maybe they're right. You know, I can't really do the Irish accent. I'll tell you now. But I could do like a wee Scottish one like that. I could switch it up like that, mate. Proper like.
Just start
But
it.
no,
Start a True Crime Blog Scotland and
uh,
start talking with a Scottish accent for the Scottish flag.
True crime, laddie.
I'll put the volume on this. Oh, this is 32 minutes long. Whereabouts? Should I skip?
1 minute 42.
Okay, I'll play it from the start. So.
It's a baby bit quiet. There you go.
Excuse. I would like to do that now. We volunteer because we care. Again, we volunteer because we care. I saw that on a fire truck here in Delphi, Indiana yesterday. And I believe it's a way of life here in Delphi in the Carroll County community. Because the way this community has wrapped their arms around this investigation and provided not just resources for officers as they're investigating this case, but also their willingness to give us information and anything that we have asked, including this church today for the press conference that Pastor Todd has given us. And of course, we want to thank the Delphi United Methodist Church for this facility today. Again, I would like to thank everyone who's given donations and any general support to this investigation. I would also like to thank in advance the person who's going to call our tip line and give us that tidbit of information that's going to lead to the arrest of the murderers of Liberty German and Abigail Williams. And I would like to thank the media for their patience. I understand there's information that you would like to get to your subscribers, get out into the media. But as you know, we have information that's germane to our investigation that we have to keep close to the vest. Because
Did I miss it? You're muted.
He said information that will lead to the murderers. If you go to 142, 1 minute 42 seconds, so about 20 seconds ago.
I did not even notice that.
thank in advance.
So in 10 seconds, just listen.
Who's going to call our tip line and give us that tidbit of information that's going to lead to the arrest of the murderers of Liberty German and Abigail Williams.
That is interesting. I didn't know that. I never heard picked up on that before.
The first press conference. So this is about a week or two afterwards. You got Fig in here as well, mate. Hi everyone, Navillus. I've been a sub of yours for a while, catching live now. Fig, I apologize, mate. I've still got a baby bit to do. I've got about 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 questions, so I'm almost done. But again, I've messaged so and so to make sure she's 100% comfortable in what we say, because the last thing I want to do is upset her or say something that shouldn't be said.
Brenda, why do you think that? Just curious, because I know you've been watching all the stuff. I can't see anything other than Tony at the moment. I don't know what I'm missing if there is, but
what's going on here? Bloke did talk badly of Armchair Detective. I've just kind of said what I it's not my opinion. I just kind of said what's been said by others. The last thing I want to do is for anyone to think that I'm personally attacking anyone. I'm just kind of like discussing stuff I see. I'm not responsible for what's been made.
I just think with people with victims of families like that, you need to tread lightly. Like.
I will say this is my opinion here. I think that personally, if you're going to be making daily streams and videos about justice for a woman and her 2 daughters, the least you could do is respect the family and at least let them have their say instead of blocking them from your channel. That's the only opinion I'll give on it.
Yeah.
I think that's respectful. It's like if I were to do Delphi stuff, I see Kelsey come in and I'm just like, oh, blocker. Don't want to hear it. It just seems a bit.
Yeah.
Maureen says, sounds more like murders. Oh, if I go back, the murderers. He goes murderer. If you slow it down, it possibly hear it better. You didn't TTB. You just read what you saw. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just trying to like keep it real. Like misinformation is the one thing I don't want to do.
Oh, I don't know, Brenda.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the voice, like Bart would definitely know Kegan or Tony's voice, and Kegan's more.
Yeah.
But
and like I said, this girl grew up with him, so she would have known him with a higher pitched voice. But she has her opinion.
Will I run through the slide once because we have some new information in there. I'll be fast.
I wouldn't touch Archer's with a 10-foot barge, poor mate. He's been doing it for 3 years, apparently. So I don't know. Literally, I found him through someone else's channel. He let me come on for like I think it was 2 hours, man, to talk about Fred West stuff. And then that's pretty much all my experience. But when I see Frankie Ruzick Jr. being upset, it's just kind of upsetting to see. Because as a creator, you need to at least respect the family of those you're trying to seek justice for. That's all I've got to say about it. Slow it down. Okay, apparently, slow down this video. If I share my screen on StreamYard, do you hear the audio, or do you just see the screen?
Share your screen there. I'll cancel mine, will I? I can go back to it there. Sure.
Yeah. Would it play the audio from my screen, or is it literally just a screen share?
Don't know. I think I might play the audio. It depends on how your audio is going in. If it's going in through.
Can you hear this?
No.
You hear that?
No.
You'd have to do that, mate. If you can't hear the. Don't say anything about screen recording, does it?
I can do it here.
Yeah, you do it there.
And then I'll just run through that once because I think there's so much information coming out. You're kind of half forgetting some of the stuff. I think there's so much.
And yeah, that's spot on page, especially considering the stuff people say about Kelsey. I know. Yeah, you know how to do it. Maybe put it to like half or 75.
And any general support to this.
1 minute 42 is your spot.
I would also like to thank in advance who's going to call our tip line and give us that tidbit of information that's going to lead to the arrest of the murderers of Liberty German and Abigail
Murderer.
Yeah.
I can see where you think murders, but I think when you're taught like this, the murderers,
Maybe.
kind of like all merges.
Yeah.
Closed captions unavailable. That's a bloody shame. I can see why you think that, but
3 days afterwards, considering how brazen it was, the crime scene, you would understand why they would just be assuming it was 2 people. Though.
This was 9 days after the murders.
Was it 9?
9, because it says the 22nd here, but it was uploaded on the 23rd. And they died on the 13th, found on the 14th, and this was the 22nd. There's a lot of stuff to unpack in this first press conference. The people focus on Shane Evans, the mayor, a lot. He seems to be like sweating buckets. Like everyone's kind of like stood there. They just seem a bit whatever, and he's there like sweating like a mother lover. And he's what is it? There's a few parts where they mentioned someone telling someone else. The detective then looks over at the mayor and kind of smirks a few times. But again, I'm not saying it's the mayor, but it sounds like murder. See, they could be misspeaking because they haven't said it elsewhere from what I know. But I think someone else said it at the end, but I don't have the timestamp.
I seen that, and I seen people slowing down the video to show that Doug was looking at the mirror when he said "murderer is in this room." I just
Yeah, the mayor was there as well.
I just think like all this stuff kind of been going on for a long time in Delphi, getting dragged here and dragged there, and then we have the biggest things that we've ever had in front of us, and it's kind of laid out. I think so, anyway. But I'll run through this once there. I'll read very fast. Blocked, but probably stuff in here that you don't know as well from the second interview.
Yeah, I'll mute it, mate.
But it's Anthony Shots. When we first learned about that, it was in December 2021. Indiana State Police released a statement on the Anthony Shots profile linking it to the case. I think everybody has probably seen that by now. I don't need to play it again. You all know the one. I'm not going to play it. So a timeline, February 13th, Abby and Libby were murdered in Delphi. 25th, the FBI raided the Kline home. August 19th, 3 years later, this is 2020, Kegan Kline is arrested and interviewed. December the 7th, the Indiana State Police released a statement on the Anthony Shots profile, linking it to the case, and then within a few hours, Wish TV linked that back to Anthony, or to Kegan Kline. So was this the start of the jury pool being warmed up? December the 9th, Kegan Kline interviewed with Barbara MacDonald, where he placed his phones in Tony's hands, but says he was with him on the day of the murders, kind of. Which is a big change because we have also the interview from August 19th, 2020, when the last thing Kegan wanted to do, he was really pushed about Tony and the phone, and no way would he put that into his hands. And we know from this interview as well that sometime back in November, Tony's house was raided. And since that was raided and they had to have probable cause, they took the dog, other kind of weird stuff. Why did they raid that? Was it something Kegan told him? Tony perhaps thinks it was because he stopped, Kegan said, talking to him after the place was raided and didn't come to visit him or put money on the books. So when the FBI raided the home, a few days after, weeks after the murder, what is it, like 2 weeks less than, FBI raided the Kline home. Kegan and Tony were just back from a short trip to Vegas. Kegan says he was fucked and should have left. He said he packed another bag, took it to Vegas. He was going to leave, maybe go back, when he was asleep. So why was he waiting until Tony was asleep, and what was he afraid of? August the 11th, 2018, Tony Kline posted to Facebook, "My son is coming home for a week tomorrow. He hasn't been home in 2 years," which we know was a lie. They said it to Bart and all the family. They tried to have Kegan down in Vegas for a long time when he wasn't. It was the first time that we got eyes on Tony then, because the profile was linked to Kegan Kline. People started looking into Kegan Kline, some of the documents. We see the arrest document, and there's this weird thing mentioned in it. And it's not the actual stepsister, but there was a profile found on the device that was taken in the raid. That was a profile of a young female called stepsister in the document. Conversations were found on the device where she discussed having sex with Kegan and her father at the same time. So people are like, what's
just like the tag team comment.
Yeah. So this was when Tony's criminal record, then we first started looking in. So I have a look back what Tony's about, and look at the escalation here throughout the years and how he doesn't stop. 2 counts of felony theft, not much details, robbed 2 pizza places. Pizza Hut was one. He did a plea deal. I think, looking at this, he was probably working there, a delivery driver or something like that, something small, but just shows the thief. And then the rest of them are a bit more are a lot more serious. June 2005, battery against women around the same age as him. Think that's Bart's mum. Not much details. Touched her in an inappropriate way, hit her. 6 witnesses, including the victim's 11-year-old daughter, arrested a few days later, bailed, or actually wasn't a mother because it was a daughter. Arrested a few days later, bailed, court order for no weapons, and he had to stay away from her. So he wasn't allowed weapons for a year. I'd be frustrated a little bit at that. July, a month later, the court order didn't include her daughter, and Tony went out and stalked her daughter. She needed a protection order from Tony as he was stalking the child. One afternoon in July, Kline and another man saw her on a bike, followed her, stalked and watched her. The court said stalking did occur. Kline was a threat and they granted a protective order for an 11-year-old girl against Tony Kline. He pleaded guilty to battery, 1 year in jail, suspended, probation for 365 days, and was made to enroll in anger management, violence against women, intimidating children, anger issues. 2009, charged with assault, started in 2008 when a number of women started getting calls. Tony was ringing them, masturbating on the phone, talking to them. He was a suspect. They got his phone. First he denied it, then he admitted it, said he'd stop. In most cases, he didn't stop and they didn't do anything about it. Went back, he started doing it again in January 2009. Admitted it. Nothing was done. Called again in April, and in May, finally, they arrested him for harassment. He forced a woman to become part of his sexual fantasy. And this was more details on that came out last week. So this is all the same woman, but how it started, he was ringing her, pleasuring herself, kept call records, 18 calls. He changed up the conversation, was talking differently every time. All times of the day, she had no peace between 7 a.m. and 1 a.m. in the morning. He was now asking her to come over. So there was an escalation throughout these calls. First he was calling her, now he's like, oh, come on over. He knows her name. She said maybe from her voicemail, that's probably how he got it. And he used to laugh at her and hang up. Called her over and over again. She was in a heap, distraught. She feels great shame over it, over what he put her through. Tony said he had the wrong number at first. Then he admitted it, blamed drink. He agreed that he did call over 20 times. Said it was stupid when he was drinking and that he'd never call again. 180 days probation. He pleaded guilty. He had to pay Jane $30 because she'd paid $30 to get the phone records. And a lifetime of trauma. And then we got the transcript from Barbara. And there was an incident in there where in the interview, they're describing an incident to Kegan. They said, we had this case a while back and this guy had this freaking little kid in the bathroom and overflowed the toilet. So he yells for help. The dad gets pissed off, comes at the kid. Mom intervenes. The dad punches the mother. She runs away. He chases her down, hunts her, chases her down, hits her, bites her in the stomach, runs back inside, slams the kid's head onto the toilet, fractures his orbital socket, puts him upside down and starts dunking him headfirst into the toilet. We know now that was Bart. The day of the murders, the profile was communicating with Libby. On the day of the murder, wanted to meet in person. He did this multiple times when he agreed to meet, and again when he reiterated to another victim that they were supposed to meet. Investigators said Libby was in love with Anthony Shots and wanted to meet up. The account was active on 2 separate devices on the day of the murders from the same home. Kegan said he was jumping from one phone to another in the first interview. Well, with the murder, there's stomach injuries. After the murder, the Shots profile talked to Libby's sister, Kelsey.
The stomach thing as well.
Yep.
A lot of correlations. It's not just a one-time occurrence.
Yeah, over a long time, bloke, you know. It's going on a while.
And then this poor girl asked, "Oh, send us your stomach," and she knew it wasn't Kegan saying it. So, I mean, bad habits die hard.
Anthony Shots' profile talked to Libby's friend saying he was going to meet up, but Libby didn't show up. Kegan pretended not to know anything about the murder. Shots' profile continued to send messages to Libby. Kegan never mentions girls by name during questioning, played it down. Kegan Googled many news articles about the murders, listened to audios, he said 6 times, and searched how long does DNA stay in a body. After the murders, Monday again, Tony's off work on Mondays. The girl known to the Klines, Kegan stayed with them and said a few times that he knew her older sister. Little sister was talking to the Anthony Shots profile and gives him her address to meet up. Guy in ski mask. She comes home from school, guy in ski mask looking through her window. The family were searched on the phones the day before. They were searched on Facebook. And Kegan knows the address. Tony doesn't. Or does he? And they think this failed. Because this failed, is this what caused the flee to Vegas? The raid that followed that stopped this from becoming a serial killer. He wasn't already one. Tony using devices. Tony was signed into his Skype accounts on the devices. Sandy Hook images were searched while in the middle of CP searches on the internet. Snapchat logins came from the same home. Snapchat sent to Libby after she died, which suggests to me that I wonder, was that Tony using that and sending group Snapchats rather than individual, because he mightn't be as good as it is Kegan. FBI analysts said 2 personas were using the phones. Kegan deleted chats from his phone from the 10th to the 15th, only on one personal device. The ski mask creep was known to Kegan. He stayed with them and knew her older sister. The little sister was talking to the Anthony Shots profile and gives him her address. The guy in the ski mask looking in at her through the window. The family were looked on Facebook the day before, as I said. Tony stops talking and sending money to Kegan. The FBI raid the home. Kegan Kline arrested, refuses to place phone in Tony's hands at all cost. 15 months later, Tony Kline's home is raided again, and it's his dog taken. Tony stops talking to Kegan and stops sending him money. And there was Google searches in that document for bestiality. There's a picture of Tony with a knee brace around his knee and a sports car. Tony's stepdaughter. So she was not essayed by Tony. She was nothing got to do with the Emily Ann account. She said, I want to speak up. I want to tell people how Tony is. Her mum married Tony when she was 2. She wants others to speak up. Her earliest memory is in the Pro House when she was 4 years old. Tony snapped, punched her when she was just 4 over a Tupperware party that I think her mother wanted to take her to, and Tony didn't want her to go. So he punched her in the face and beat up her mother. She remembers Bart and the toilet incident. The police were always called, she said. Tony said he was off his meds for bipolar and blamed that. The cops said, cop on Tony, and didn't take it seriously. Tony would, quote, beat the living shit out of her for huffing or breathing wrong. She talked about Tony having friends in LE. She had no answer. She seems like she didn't really have names, but she just had a feeling. She has a picture of a black eye when she was 4 that she got off Tony. She said Kegan never got touched. It was always the sister and the mother that got it worse than even Bart. She called him a textbook sociopath. Once, she said the neighbours were over having dinner and she sat at the head of the table as like a joke, thinking Tony on power again. And Tony was like, get up, move. And she goes, ha, make me. Tony snapped in front of the neighbours, caught the table, everything was on it, and flipped it over on top of her. Did not care who was there. She moved in with her biological dad when she was 13. She lost contact and grew apart from Bart and her mother, but they're kind of back talking now. When she was aged 9 to 13, Tony was outside with a BB gun, told her to start running. He said, "I'm going to shoot you." Gave her a 5-second head start. He shot her in the elbow. She had to go to A&E, to the emergency room, to get surgery. They were like, "What happened?" And she lied and covered for Tony, saying that it ricocheted and hit her, not that he was stalking and hunting her. She came home from work, or when Tony would come home from work, he would sit in his recliner and make Gwen take off his shoes and socks. In the mornings, he would make her put them on. Rub his back, massage his feet, control, power. He made her eat soap. She doesn't have a memory of this, but her mother told her that Tony was making her eat soap once, and she looked at Tony and said, "I love it." Tony lost it and made her eat the whole bar. Made the family sleep in the car one night outside the door. Tony killed animals in front of her. He dug a hole for a cat because they thought the cat was dead, and the cat started moving. The cat was alive. Tony bashed in the head until it was dead. He also shot a dog. She was very clear that she doesn't have a clear memory of that, but all the family know and talk about it when they were growing up. Remember that time Tony went out the back and shot the dog. Very unpredictable. It was never sexual, but always mental and physical. Tony spent 24 hours in jail once for beating up the mother. He came straight home and dragged her from room to room, beating her. Kids were screaming. He turned to them and threatened the kids that if they didn't stop screaming, he's going to blow her head off. She said he was capable of anything. He stalked and hunted her again at the Brown house with a dirt bike. He told her to run, and he chased her on the bike. She climbed a tree, screaming, tried to get away from him. She fell and broke her leg. That was the picture that was in the broken leg in one of the videos earlier. Kegan was the golden child. Anything abusive that he suffered was as an adult and not a child, because he did talk about that in some of his interviews. Says Kegan is lying about not talking to Tony, she thinks. She says he must have money because he's communicating with people outside of jail. She didn't say who he's communicating with. Kegan as a kid was normal for a while, became very difficult, didn't go to school, was held back and dropped out of 8th or 9th grade. Pretty normal, but a huge liar. She also thought he was in Vegas for 4 years. She planned to meet up with him once because she wasn't far from Vegas, and on the day they were meant to meet up, he ghosted her. He was in Vegas. It is the first consequence Kegan has ever faced in his life. She says the voice is not Tony's. Kegan and Tony are both nice to the neighbours, but they also wouldn't stop flipping out in front of someone if something triggered them. She has talked to the police about them both. She thinks they're looking at Tony. The mother feels great shame over giving birth to Kegan. And she stopped talking to Kegan because he blew off work, or he blamed work for not turning up to the mother's birthday. This was before he was arrested. And the mother now is terrified because the kids are speaking out, and she's obviously suffered years and years of abuse, and she's convinced that Tony's going to be enraged and something's going to happen. Tony told her at a gas station sorry for the way things were and tried to buy her gas or cigarettes to make up for it. She's her own family now, seems to be doing okay. Childhood was full of fear of him because how physical abusive he... Oh, this is Bart. The earliest memory of it... This is the boy, stepchild. His earliest memory as a kid was one of his birthday parties. Tony was there. He was married to the mother for 10 years. Same sisters since he was a toddler until he was around 12. Tony blocked out the mother's side of the family, and all they knew really was Tony's side of the family. Said they all knew about the abuse. He was the person... Tony was the person that he called dad for half his childhood. He knows him well. He calls him the worst person I ever known. Worst person he ever known. Knew. Why do I have known under? I need to change that. Childhood was full of fear of him because of how physical abusive he was towards him, his mother, his sister, and Bart talks about how he thought it was normal until he went to a friend's house and was like, why aren't you all screaming, shouting, killing each other? He calls him an evil person, but people that know that listen to this, he says it in a very kind of casual, matter-of-fact way. He said he not the totally different man behind closed doors, that he was very violent in public without hesitation. He talks about plates smashed off the wall, sister thrown through a door, Tony on top of his mother punching her in a frenzy. Mother also had black eyes, broken nose, very normal, was never a hidden thing. He said Tony is a control freak. And if you were sitting in a room at night and you got up to get a glass of water, you didn't ask Tony before you got up, it would result in violence. He said he can't control himself if he is not making all the decisions. Calls him an evil person. And he used to have a couple of friends he used to ride bikes with and go to car races with. Speed, thrill. Tony loves his cars. No real close friends, by the sounds of it, that Bart remembers. Always talked about how much money he had, how much money he made at work. Sounds very much like the Anthony Shots persona. Bart thinks the voice is Kegan and not Tony's. Bart says he made an attempt when they first on the scene to be a father figure. Tony made an attempt to be a father figure. Has memories of him coming to football games and things, but Tony went to the school and changed Bart's name to Kline for 2 years until there was such an uproar they got it changed back, but the boy or that. But it shows Tony trying to impose his dominance and control and power over the kids. And I think he resented them because he could never get that. Bart, clearly, anyone that listened to it has PTSD from the toilet incident. He said they fished in Delphi when they were younger with Tony. Bart said he did make an attempt. I read that. Anya asked him, did he ever threaten you with knives or anything like that? And very, very quickly, Bart's like, yeah, absolutely. All the time. He said weapons were normal. Whatever was handy, baseball bats. He once picked up a desktop PC. Tony was trying to install a game. Bart was trying to explain to him the PC doesn't have enough RAM. I can't run it. Tony got mad, frustrated, picked up the desktop PC, all the cords, cables attached, ran after Bart down the hall and threw it at him. Entitlement, superiority, want admiration, doesn't care about others. If it looks like they do, it's just enhance their own status. In love with themselves, can't admit when wrong, lie, blame others. Cold, cynical view of others, like money, like power, like winning, manipulation, steal, betray, better to be feared than loved. Cold, others think you are scary, show little fear, act impulsively, lack of compassion, no problems being mean, no remorse or guilt. And that's blokes. News details that he's after kindly giving us. So I can't see after going through all that how Tony doesn't fit perfectly into all those categories. Which one doesn't he have? What do you think, bloke?
Let me read this one. I know a lot of narcissists.
Yeah, but it's when you get all these three combined.
He's a psychopath. I can go to that. What's Machiavellian? I could have sworn Machiavelli is like a compliment. So cynical view of others. Love me. Well, there was another thing. And I don't mind saying it here. When she was approached about possible nude photo, well, not possible, nude photos of her being found on her device, the police told her, we have reason to believe these photos are being sold. So Machiavellian, yeah. And it would also, she said about money being offered for pictures, and they said that Anthony Shots paid Libby, which makes me think that Libby would have wiped her phone. The reason why she would have wiped the phone and the fact that it possibly was meeting Anthony Shots is because she received money from that account. So she might have took explicit photos of herself and sent it over, which is kind of, that might be why Kegan was so reluctant to hand in that 5C, that phone. So I would say psychopath, Machiavellian, 100%, narcissist most likely. That's my opinion. Because I don't actually know. It doesn't seem like he admits wrongdoing, but I haven't heard him ever blame anyone else. He lies a lot. So yeah, most likely.
But sure, like with the example with the PC, he's trying to blame Bart there for him not installing the game for some reason, chases him, completely loses control. And the hunting, how many times has he hunted and stalked kids?
Oh, yeah.
Like how many people do you know that you can be like, oh, I've 4 examples of you hunting and stalking kids? Like, sorry?
He'd also be a sociopath in the sense that he's using his own flesh and blood to get child pornography to then most likely sell on. Because a sociopath sees a person as an object, and he's got his own son here. He's named his son after a strip club, and he's making his son, or they're both doing it joint, but he feels it's acceptable to do so, get the son to join in, because he's not a person. He's my kid, so therefore he does what I say, kind of thing.
Yep, Kegan Kline, tag team.
The tag team thing is like the maddest one, especially considering the stepsister thing. And obviously, Emily Ann is named after the niece of Kegan. I think it's a niece or cousin. I don't know how it really works. I think it's a niece because, niece. So he's her cousin. She's his niece. It's not a stepsister, but they use the name of her. I really doubt that they had sex with her, because if they did, she's a little girl. I don't even think she's double digits yet. So I really don't think so. And if they did, it would make you think that there's another Kline letting it happen, which is just, it's all very weird to think about. You get these pictures in your head when you talk about this case recently. Because it's all just child porn and stuff. It's disgusting.
It's horrible. I can't look past the 2 of them anyway, to be honest, and I can't look past Tony.
Yeah, when I found out that the Anthony Shots account paid Libby,
I'm not sure about how sure are you on that?
And that was in the transcript. It was like the Anthony Shots bank account, and I really doubt it was a bank account. It's probably more like a Cash App or something. Sent money to Libby a couple of days before the murders.
Have you got that? Which one? In the Kegan interview?
I believe the police interview of Kegan. I believe.
I'm not sure on that.
Let me double check it for you so I can clarify it. I read that somewhere.
Because that would lead them back faster. Fast enough. There'd be too much of a trail there, I would think.
If they're offering money to this girl for explicit photos, some people saying, oh, they paid money so that she could wipe the phone or shut up. But I don't think you'd waste money on that. You'd want something in return. But it's just a horrible thought. Was it Fig spoke to me about it, so I can check that. Fig, if you're still here, surely you'd know more than me. You're the one who sent me the thing to look at. I can search up in a PDF file, can't I? Yeah.
Yeah, Control F.
PDF is different to like a document, isn't it? Fig could have. As. Oh, can I? I think it's all a JPEG image. No, it's not. I can do it now, I think.
Yeah.
You say?
I just doubt there was a transactional like that to any account that could take money out.
Oh, flipping out. Because it's not a document, it's like it's pictures. I could have sworn I read it. I wouldn't have just assumed it. So I'll double check this. I could have sworn it was in this one because this is the one I haven't read in full, but I've seen like pictures of it. Yes, that's in the transcript. Do you know what page? Do you know what page?
Is it?
Yeah, it said that Anthony Shot's bank account sent money to Libby. They didn't say what amount though. They never said what amount. And if it was a large amount, make you wonder. Then you'd be more enticed to meet him. It's like, wow, this rich boy likes me. He's steaming naked.
What, just like PayPal or Cash App or something? How's he setting up an account?
They say bank account in the transcript from my live yesterday. So what is it? The very start, was it? I could have sworn it wasn't at the very start.
I wonder, is that a lie by the LE? To try and be like, shit, Tony sent him money or something, do you know?
But I know they had a Cash App and that they offered money to other people. And I read somewhere. Is Fig still there? Let me double check that. There's a whole discussion if it was Bitcoin. Yeah. That was on Fig's Live, I think. There's 194 pages to go through, and I can't control F this. If I control F and do, like, I see the word Skype in front of me. Skype. State of Indiana. No.
Well,
unless there's like a search thing that isn't, because it's a PDF file. That's the only issue, man. I don't flip in there.
You're saying there it's in the transcript, all right.
It was before
type or payment account that has been set up.
It was before I spoke about Fig. Do you know what page the bank account transaction is on the transcripts about Anthony Shot's bank account sent money to Libby? Because I was. There you go. You'll hear me in a second. He said the page number because we did a live, and I started talking about Bitcoin, and that was it, mate. 20 minutes of ranting about cryptocurrency, how it works, and that. Here we go. Bank account mentioned on page 95. Brilliant. Beat you to it, Fig. Page 95. Is it page 95? Page 95. Continue bank information. Sorry. Fig, it says on your live it's page 95. On page 95, that's about Amazon and being high on drugs. So I don't think it was 95. Was it something else? Oh, that's your stream.
Fig is having a look.
I'm having, yeah, Fig will send it. It was on his live because I ranted about Bitcoin. I can see it right here on your thing. Oh, we have the money, the Anthony Shot's money going to her, page 156. 156, bang. We have multiple device logins from your house on Canal Street. We know you spoke to her the day she was murdered. You said absolutely not. We have these images. You are saying you don't know. That's a nude. We have these grooming pictures. We have the money. The Anthony Shot's money account going to her. And I'll show you this here. I got it. 156 of the transcript. How's that look?
What? Where left out of it?
I'll get rid of this. We have these grooming pictures. We have the money, the Anthony Shot's money account going to her. And this is about Libby because it says you spoke to her the day she was murdered. You said absolutely not. I blocked her. We have the images. You saying that's not, you know what? That's a nude. We have these grooming pictures. We have the money. The Anthony Shot's money account going to her. So it said money account, not bank account. But it seems like he cashed up to her some money or PayPal'd her some money. And we have the kick messenger of all the daddy references. These are two different authors saying this. But he sent her money. He sent Libby money. and spoke to her the day she was murdered. But it doesn't say how much money, so you don't know. Some people are like, oh, it wouldn't be a nude, it'd be wipe the phone, so you can't find out about me. But I don't think that's likely. I think it's more she sent nudes, and the reason she wiped her phone is because she had nude photos of herself, and this person was grooming her, which is a sad thought.
Yeah, and here, look, it's nothing. Jesus, any girl Libby's age could have gotten caught away with that, you know. That could easily happen. She was groomed, you know.
The Anthony Shots money account.
But I don't know, like you said, we don't know. It could be just something like delete your messages, delete the phones. They can't. We don't know.
That's why the amount is important.
Yeah.
That would be like you send over a tenner.
Yeah, but
if you're wanting nudes, on page 94, they were talking about him having bank information on his phone. That's it. Did Dad know your passcode? You have banking information on this phone.
But if I'm communicating with someone and texting them, and then you end up murdering them, you're going to know it's only a matter of time before there's a knock on the door because I sent them money. Or did they think the profile would never be tracked back?
If it was to wipe her phone, why would you ask her to wipe her phone, then continue to talk to her after the wipe, and then kill her with that information from you talking to her that day still on the phone? It's more likely that she's sent over some pictures in exchange for money, because that's what it seems to lead to, because they've done that to other people, is offer money for pictures. So maybe that's why the 5C had the nude photos of Libby on there, and that's why he wanted to hold it and wipe the phone a few times over so that they couldn't get those pictures.
I'm uncomfortable talking about new photos of Libby, to be honest. I know.
No, that's what I was trying to say. It's just, it puts pictures in your head.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. But money for pictures seems a lot more likely than erase the phone so I can continue to talk to you and still have evidence there. It just doesn't seem logical. But none of this is logical, is it?
No. But for him then the following week to go to that other house, like, why aren't you? Is he just on a buzz looking for another thrill? Or I just don't understand with that type of communication how you wouldn't think that the FBI are going to beat down your door in minutes.
I think it's more money and gang related. I think there's a whole group of them wanting this, and there's money involved. Because what was it Kegan was saying? I can't afford living in Vegas. I miss Vegas, and I have no money.
Sure, he had no money to send to people anyway. So who was sending her money off that profile?
That's a good. See, I didn't think that way about it. It's almost like maybe it's Daddy's account or flipping someone else. There was a page somewhere, and I don't know the page. I'll open it in another window, so you'll like this one. I'm not sure if you caught onto this one. I haven't even read the full transcript yet. I got it, but I haven't gone through it. It's 194 pages. I haven't even listened to the murder sheet yet. I had a few things happen, so I couldn't. But I should do when I'm. It's not something I want to do. I listened to the first one and I was like, that's enough for me.
Just listen to them. It's not as bad as the first one, but it's very important. And what's happening with you is you get dragged in so many different areas, and then you have a transcript of an FBI interview in front of you with a main suspect that you haven't gotten around to reading, you know.
Well, have you seen this? Emily Ann says, hey, it's Adam. You're so cute, princess. Were you naked in that? Who's Adam? I've not heard the name Adam before. Emily Ann says, hey, it's Adam. And this was something a viewer sent to me. He said, I was reading the transcripts and I saw this. And myself, I don't know of anyone regarding the Klines called Adam. But there was someone on the account saying, hello, it's Adam. It could be a fake name. But I've not heard the name Adam before. And the fact that they said, hey, it's Adam.
Yeah, you wouldn't know, I suppose, that like if they're using the account as an Emily Ann, they're pretending to be a girl, and then maybe Adam is the fantasy of the dad or the brother taking the made-up girl's phone. I don't know. They're just creeps, bro.
They are creeps, I'll tell you that, especially if they're sending money to Libby. But that should have flagged it instantly. Maybe that's why they got raided. They were going through Libby's phone. They see, oh, Cash App, this random account sent over so-and-so dollars.
As far as I know, the raid was connected to what sped raid up was the incident the following week with the ski mask. That's what brought him onto him. That came first. Which is odd as well if there's data like that, unless they're having trouble somehow tracking that back. But
how has a 13, 14-year-old got an account that can store, receive, and send money? I had a bank account at 11, but like it was until I was the age of 18, it was viewable by all my parents and everything.
I wonder. I'm wondering now if that didn't happen at all, and if Ellie threw that out there, and Kegan will probably know, just to try and put some pressure on him, get in his head thinking it was Tony. But if they did do that, and Kegan knew no way Tony would have that set up, he'd call their bluff for the rest of the interrogation because he knows.
He didn't seem too defensive though. He went right. He says right a lot. Fig says there is an Adam who lived with friend 1, but it can be a fake name too. And friend 1 is the one that Kegan was trying to make out was on his phone doing all of this. And then he lived with someone called Adam. So that's a weird one. It's just I don't. If you're using a fake account, why would you say, "Hey, it's Adam"?
Yeah, they probably forgot that might be the one name that they forgot because they did forget one name.
But if they're also using their neighbour's surname and their own middle name for Anthony Shots, was to say friend 1, I live with this guy called Adam, I'll call myself Adam, and friend 1 is the one.
Yeah. I don't think friend 1. I don't know much about friend 2, but I don't think friend 1 has anything got to do with it. But he lives down in Vegas now as well with 2 kids. He was down there with him for a while.
Go Henry accounts. I'll pay my daughter-in-law's pocket money. She has a card. She's 13. Others can pay into it and she can spend a set amount. Are you able to view it though? Because when I was 11, I got a bank card with Barclays Bank, and flipping any payment I sent, it would come up with a notification. Any payment I received, come up with a notification. So my mum knew exactly everything I was doing, and I had no way to actually really make money, because you make money 16 in the United Kingdom. They don't let you get any jobs or anything, so it'd be like send pocket money. She shared an eBay PayPal account with a friend. But if she shared it for a family member, the family member would be like, why the heck have I got said amount of dollars show up from a random account? Can a 14-year-old have a PayPal account? I thought Libby would be too young. I thought PayPal was
Sure, they all just lie, isn't it? Social media is 16, isn't it? Or Snapchat, and that doesn't stop any young one from going on.
Instagram's 13. You've got to be at least 18 years old for a PayPal. The second thing is, can 13-year-olds have a PayPal account? You can no longer set up a PayPal student account. You can have a custodial account and let them take control of it when they're 18 years old, and you can keep an eye on their account and help them make decisions. So until you're 18, anything you do is monitored. So I don't see what account would she have to receive money that wouldn't come up on a family member's account who helped to get that account, saying, why is there this amount of money coming from this person? Who is this person? So it's a very confusing one. Fig had some good ones here about the pages. Telling somebody 173 bank account.
Oh, thanks, Trixie. Yeah. Do you know I had comments under my last video when bloke was on being like, get him back on?
Yeah, I am.
Like, we want you on together.
I wasn't even expecting to come on. I was just kind of editing this thing and I was listening, but I'm happy to be here. And I think it is better to play it safe. I don't want to like blast this out and say one thing is wrong and then upset someone. That's the last thing I want.
Even there with the money, that's why I was like, check that. I just don't want to be on a stream saying they said it was money sent if I'm not sure.
Well done, Fig. You've got 4K, yeah. But yeah, you got $5. Well done, mate. Thank you, Trixie.
Trixie is one of my Navi clan members. She's very good. She was on stream me there the other day. She was fighting some weasels with me.
What is I only know Navi is like a CSGO team. I used to play CSGO back in the day.
Look, there's some things better left unsaid. Look, that's for you to figure out.
You like? Wait,
what?
Counter-Strike? Navi?
No.
What's a Navi?
I'll let you figure it out. You'll figure it out another day. It's not for tonight. Let it sink in.
Oh, you lost me here, mate. Is this an Irish thing?
Yeah, it is. It's an Irish thing.
What, a fairy?
No.
No? I don't think.
Thanks, nice one.
Navigator.
It's wild speculation now.
Wild speculation. You've lost me. You lost me. A pixie, a fairy. That's all I can think of. I don't know. If you called someone a fairy in England, you would be calling them something not too nice. So I don't know.
That's the same.
No, I'm not even.
Ozzy girl, look at your channel badge. I didn't even see that. I didn't see you signing up. Thank you. See my lovely badges. They get like after each month you get an extra star on your badge as well. Goes up.
I'm looking at the StreamYard where it's just like a little circle with 2 lines in it.
They all have lovely badges.
Yeah, with mine it's just a pixelated crown. I had it on my head, I think. You fairy.
It's all going to kick off now.
I don't have a blinking clue.
Right, I'm going to have to. What are we on to? I'll have to keep this under 3.
Under what, 3 hours?
Yeah, I don't know how
How long it's been on?
Yeah, it has. Yeah, I've been on here.
Wow, good on
and
you,
most
mate.
times I'm like, right, I'll be 30 minutes, 40 minutes.
I mean, I didn't even expect to come on, so thank you. Here we go. Where's my crown gone?
But yeah, come back on there no next. What is today? Thursday? Come back on next Thursday for a chat.
It is Thursday. I thought it was Friday, for flip's sake. So Friday tomorrow would be a good one for me when I get all that stuff on air.
And we'll have all your stuff. Oh my god. There's things now inside my DNA that are kicking off, but I won't talk about that now.
You're confusing the heck out of me, man.
What?
There's things in your DNA kicking off.
I'm just saying, like, do you know?
No, I don't know.
Do you know what? You probably don't, because your history over there is so whitewashed. You don't understand.
I beg your pardon. What?
I'm just saying, like, your history isn't history.
No, when I was in history class, it was all Hitler's a naughty man, and that was pretty much it. That's all we were taught, is that Nazis bad, Germans bad. That's all I got taught in secondary school. I hated history, but I love history, if you know.
Yeah. Well, it was less than 100 years ago, not far from me. The British were pouring hot tar over grandmothers and mothers' heads.
Friend Ashley had his family from Ireland. His granddad or his great granddad got taken out of his house and shot in the head.
Yeah, you don't know. They keep all that stuff from you. Like, you don't know any about the black and tans. They don't know over here.
And the Troubles and that. You don't. I found out about the Troubles when I was in college. I never heard of it before, and then I just saw somewhere.
It's serious.
I never knew about the Troubles until I was in college, and that the Bloody Sunday and that.
Do you know what? I'll leave you with something good.
Okay.
So, do you know the song, like, can you dig it? Do you ever that phrase? Can you dig it?
Can I dig it?
Yeah, do you hear people say that? Do you dig me?
I know I dig it. Like, yeah, I dig that.
Yeah. That's mainly in black culture. Do you know where that came from?
You dig? From Ireland?
That came from when the Irish had to leave because of the famine and all the stuff you were doing to us. But when they went
do anything, man. Let's say I did anything, man. I didn't do a flipping thing. My best friend Ashley has the surname O'Sullivan. He's got a ginger beard. Don't put that on me, man.
Yeah. But so when all the Irish were over in America, they were working with the black community in the mines and all that. And the Irish for understand is undigging to. So it'd be undigging to digging to, and eventually it got shortened down to do you dig it? And that's how that got into the black community. That was from the Irish working with them a long time ago. But the Irish, instead of uniting with the black people, because there was even letters here, like people were writing to all the Irish in America saying, look, you need to stand behind the black community. They're looking for civil rights, the same thing that we're looking for over here off the Irish. But instead of carrying on being a friend and brothers to the black community, a lot of the Irish actually became racist cops and started suppressing the black community.
So they
That's
really
again,
were
sorry
like
for
America.
there now, but that's a story for a different day. But that's where the phrase or the saying "Do you dig it?" comes from.
Well, I found out this around just before I went into college. So before I even knew about the troubles in that. My surname I was given at birth that isn't my surname now is the surname of a slave owner who owned slaves in Barbados, St. John's, Barbados. And so that would have meant that my distant relatives on the side of the family I don't see were the slaves from Barbados. And I never knew that. I'm pasty as anything. I wouldn't have ever thought that. But if you were to go really far back, I've got a relation to Barbados slaves. And it wasn't the slave master. I know that much. So
I'm going to have to show you one more.
Yeah, show me. I'm down for that. It's almost midnight as well. I didn't even realise. Montserrat. I know Montserrat. That's where Black the Ripper's from. I love him. When I went to the BBC, there was a guy, and he was saying like Black the Ripper, and I had Bank of England gloves on, man. And I met Black the Ripper in 2018. Like on my bed right here, man. And I've got a design up from Bank of England here done by Josh. He's a 16-year-old. He's probably 17 or 18 now. But dude, this is from this brand was created from a guy in Montserrat. I know all about the Caribbean, man.
Really? You're going to be surprised here, so because I think there's something you don't know.
I'd love to listen.
Wishful thinking on digging to. It's an Irish, not the word dig, but the longer word digging to would be the Irish word for to understand.
Okay, I got it in full screen.
Why isn't this playing?
I say yes, though. Oh, there you go.
Cholashe bríomh fís na Black Irish in Montserrat. Seo tuairisc ó Rarc.
Unfortunately, it's a bit far to take the wife and family. To be precise, 4,128 miles from Cork, give or take a few. It's on the Emerald Isle, all right, and they'll feel quite at home among its Atlantic beaches, green fields, harps and shamrocks. But the trouble is that this Kinsale is at the wrong side of the Atlantic. It's Kinsale in Montserrat, a West Indian island, the Emerald Isle of the Caribbean, and home of a unique
Are you ready for this?
race of people, the Black Irish.
It was under the press gang of Cromwell that hundreds of people...
Cromwell, I assume you know him, yeah? Mm.
Cromwell?
Kenny and Drogheda were in the West Indies.
The damage he's... I don't even want to go into it. We'll just go to it.
Oliver
They
Cromwell.
arrived just as the first importation of slaves took place. So, both cruelly uprooted from their homes, Irish and African Negro shared a common suffering, a common grievance, and for the most part lived together in peace and common understanding. The home of Mr. and Mrs. Allen is also the local post office. Their soft accents are typical of Montserrat
This is their accent now, bloke.
and might easily be confused with the lilt in parts of West Cork.
Now, how did the family come to Montserrat, Mr. Allen?
Well, the Irish people came to Montserrat on account of Cromwell, where was exiled. We heard they had some fighting there, and the Irish people came and it was inside. So they was sent out of the island. So and we are some of the older descendants.
We have Allens, Daly, Sweeney's, Ryan.
They're all related to you, are they?
They are one relation.
I'm definitely getting copyright stricken over that music, am I?
I don't know. It's very, very new to me. I've not heard of Irish being exiled to Montserrat of all places. Because they went to a great place. Yeah. I'm not saying Ireland's bad, but Montserrat is bloody beautiful, man. Is this Oliver Cromwell? Old times. Yeah. Like you're gonna not like this.
I've got comments. Are you talking a Jamaican accent? I was like, what? Sorry.
That's a Jamaican accent, did someone say? Because that's not Jamaican.
Yeah, but you know, it would have been very close. They would have all gone out from Montserrat to Jamaica, and people talk about a lot of their older kind of relatives and family in Jamaica would talk with that accent. It's kind of
Well,
small.
I've learned something today.
It is a small here, isn't it?
One side of my family is related to a Cromwell, but not Oliver Cromwell. I know that much. I remember Mum saying about that, so I'll ask about that and let you know. So my mum's side is related really distantly to a Cromwell, and my other side was from St. John's, Barbados slave plantation, and then Cromwell was sending blacks to Montserrat. So
he was sending Irish there.
Huh?
He was sending Irish there. He was sending all the people down Kilsale, West Cork there.
What? Any Irish?
Yeah, a lot of Irish. Do you know what Cromwell did over here? Do you know?
No, I don't. I didn't even know Cromwell had anything to do with Ireland. I thought he was just he was the guy who got rid of the monarchy. That's all I know him for. That's all I was taught about is he was a nasty guy, and Charles II is amazing. That's what I got told.
Jesus, you've some history to do tonight, bro. Look up what he did.
I'm gonna double check which Cromwell I was related. Oh,
You're just oblivious to it. You're just oblivious to the crimes of your ancestors.
Yeah, the one thing I won't stand for is saying that I did anything, because I was born in 2001, man, and I'm quite understanding.
Blissful ignorance.
Well, I don't know, because I don't know these things. I'm not ignoring anything. I'm learning. I'm wanting to learn. I would have ever.
Any of this in school, they don't touch on it. You know, they don't touch on it in your curriculum or anything.
No, I know. It was all about the Holocaust and Hitler being nasty and that Britain's great. That's what I got taught. And I'm from the southwest of England. I was in the education system reception 2005 and left secondary school in 2012. So mid 2000s, early 2010s, all I was taught.
So there's loads.
I'm oblivious, yes, but I'm not ignorant. Trust me.
I know, but it's not your fault. It's just. But there's loads. This one, myth or reality of Cromwell in Ireland.
I didn't even know Cromwell had anything to do with it. Literally, all I knew Cromwell was the guy who took down the monarchy, and then the monarchy came back. That's all I knew about him. And I know that my mum is a distant descendant of Cromwell.
Yeah.
And then on my other side, they're the distant descendants of slaves from Barbados. And there's a St. John's in Montserrat, because that is Black the Ripper was born St. John's, Montserrat, and St. John's, Barbados is where the plantation where my other side's surname comes from.
You've a right mixing you saw.
I know, this is news to me. So you have all people to say that to. I'll double check.
I'm hitting you on both sides. I'm hitting you with Cromwell and I'm hitting you with Montserrat as well.
I'm a product of both of them, man. But it's a good thing I'm leaning to the side that isn't the bad one. And the thing is, I got the same birthday as Charles II, who took the throne after Cromwell. Yeah. So isn't that completely nuts?
No, you can't win.
29th of May. But I also got the same birthday as JFK, so hopefully they don't shoot me in the head for this.
That'll probably be coming if you're there. 8 minutes. Cromwell's revenge in Ireland. He was getting a bit pissy with us because we wouldn't bow down.
Wouldn't leave your own land.
He was getting pissy because because we wouldn't hand up our land or farm our land and send all the food to England and not talk in Irish, not play our sports.
Oh, what a twat.
Get rid of our culture, our history.
Where are you from in southeast England, roughly? I'm in southwest of England. I'm near Wales, but I'm in England, and I'm Bristol, and I'm basically bridge guy. Yeah, I get told that a lot if I take my beanie off. Apparently, I'm the second sketch. I've got a big chin and I've got curly hair. That's pretty much it.
Cromwell's ethnic cleansing: 850,000 Irish perished or were sold.
The one thing I don't like about the UK is that Northern Ireland isn't even Northern Ireland; it's North East Ireland, and that is. I hear all this stuff about Plaid Cymru in Wales, and Scotland. They want to leave, but I think if anyone deserves a referendum on leaving the United Kingdom, it's Northern Ireland, because we're literally just like.
Yeah, but Like you get into things like plantations then, and I don't know. I don't wanna. I won't go there because I won't shut up. Sarah, I agree. We don't like them either. You can have them if you want them.
Bristol equals slaves. Yeah, what's it? We had you not got much of an accent. See, I get told I have a posh accent and that I fake my accent. So I'm a mix of everything. I got a lot of European friends. My name is Scottish. I'm right near Wales. I'm English. Descendant of Cromwell, descendant of slaves distantly either side of the family. Same birthday as Charles II, who took the throne from Cromwell. Dude, I feel like this is absolutely nutty right now. I'm learning a lot. Yeah, I'm quite happy you mentioned that. I know it's not Delphi, but it's bloody brilliant.
Especially if you're in person and you're over here, don't tell anyone that you're related to Cromwell.
Oh no, I won't. I mean, it's nothing I really tell anyone because I have no idea anything about it. But now I know a bit about it, and I'm kind of like, oh shit.
You're like, what? Sorry.
It's not Oliver Cromwell, but it's like a relative of Oliver Cromwell.
Yeah.
But I'll send you which one. But I don't support that at all, and I kind of feel a bit sad because my mum was like, "Oh wow, isn't that cool?" when she told me, and I just like, "Yeah, all right." You have a very Vicky Pollard accent. No, but no, I don't talk like that. I don't talk like that. Shut up. I don't talk like that. Oh,
guys, this is after being the most random tangent.
Yeah, man. You sound posh-ish. I'm not posh at all, man. I don't talk like that at all. Not at all.
Back to Cromwell, to Delphi.
To my accent. I bet they think I take flipping speech lessons. I had someone say I'm not a bloke, I'm a middle classer, and that I take elocution lessons to hide my Western accent, but I'm also posh.
Elocution lessons.
Mate.
You need to get rid of these people in your chats. And
No. This wasn't even in my chat. This was on other things. Someone made 2 videos on me. You seen the photos of the bridge? Then you can see bodies and footprints, and there's people under the bridge. I just left a comment saying, "Hey man, I appreciate content, but there's literally nothing there." And then there were 2 videos made on me. I looked in the comments, and it was he's a posh git. He's not a bloke. He takes elocution lessons to hide his Western accent. And I had someone say that I'm from Alabama. You really can't make it up. You've got to love the imagination of it. I just wish that there was some sense to it.
Do you know what? Your Scottish accent was a bit too good. I'm thinking it's from Scotland, guys. I don't know what you do.
I can't be from Scotland, lad. I've been in Bristol my whole life, like. I
sounds
can't
a
be
bit
doing
too-
that, like. Nah. I mean, I've got a Scottish name, but that's pretty much it, bro. I've never been to Scotland. I really want to go. I like Scotland. A bit of Iron Blues, I will, mate.
Yeah, I hear Edinburgh's okay, but I hear Glasgow is stuck in the 80s.
They're stuck in Valium. That's what they're stuck in. Needles and Valium. No, thank you.
Allegedly. I don't know. I haven't been there. Apologies from Glasgow into chat.
I just got to say, I love Scotland, but Queen Nicola, no. Queen Nicola's silly. But I'll have to get back to you on that one. You're good at accents. Yeah. I can't do an Irish accent. I can't do an Irish accent at all. The Estonian accent's amazing. I got a lot of Estonian accents that I speak to like pretty regular. And I've been learning a bit of Russian as well, so I've had to do a Russian accent to pronounce the words. So I can read Russian, but I don't know what half of it means. I'm of Scottish descent. Well, that's sick. Scotland's sick. Perfect Scottish right there. Brilliant. Sorry for going off a bit.
It was just giving up Glasgow, bits of Glasgow, but the rest of it's lovely. And I have a few people I follow for like stories and stuff. I just love the Scottish accent. Someone telling me a story.
Amy Celeste.
Not as good as Derry or Welsh. I like the Welsh as well.
Yeehaw. How's your mum then? What does that mean? How's your mum then? How's your mum then? I don't know nothing about that. Nothing about anything.
I'd say you take anyone over Boris, would you?
Nicola Sturgeon over Boris. I don't, mate. I'll tell you this much. I regret my vote. I've voted in one election, and I wish I didn't vote for who I voted for.
Sure, that happens most of the time that people vote anyway.
There's no good options, and the good options they get like 0 point whatever of the vote because they're not a popular flipping party. I'm really torn in my votes, but I'm not gonna delve into it. I voted Green Party in the council elections, but that's just because everyone else was shit.
Yeah, we've a lot of changes happening here at the moment. The third biggest party is becoming maybe the first biggest in the next general election, so we get some bit of a shake up.
You're in a republic, so it wouldn't be like the UK Parliament parties, would it?
No, it would be.
Sinn Féin.
Sinn Féin, yeah, we Sinn Féin.
Aren't they bad? Aren't they nasty?
See, no, depends on who you ask.
On whoever I talk to, I get told they're terrorists.
Sinn Féin, IRA straight away, you know, but it's complicated.
That's what I get told. I get
go back and do some of your history.
I get told Sinn Féin are a load of terrorists.
Yeah, of course you do.
And that's the only party I actually know from Ireland because they say it. And don't
But
wish
Sinn
it
Féin want the United Ireland, like a lot of other parties and people. So
see, I don't know Irish politics.
Yeah.
I know that Wales vote Labour and they don't get anything for it. That's why I was torn. Plaid Cymru, I don't know anything about that.
Wales is a bit soft, isn't it? I think Scotland will leave eventually, but Wales will never leave. They can't afford it.
Well, they get so much free from us. They don't have to pay for prescriptions. They don't have to pay for pretty much anything, but they don't have anything to show for it, which is a shame. Stop digging a hole. Okay.
Yeah.
Mate, I'm open.
We are. This is the most random end and tangent.
Yeah.
Oh
Sorry.
God. How do we end up here? I suppose it's inevitable that we're going to end up in Cromwell and.
Second, you mentioned Montserrat and Cromwell. That was it, mate.
Sinn Féin. My God.
Yeah, I want to learn. I'd rather know the reality of it all than be oblivious, like you said.
The podcast, A Short History of Ireland. It's not short, the podcast, but you can jump in and jump out, and even start around. I don't know. Oh God, when did you start? There's about 700. You were at us for about 700 years, so I don't know where to start. But pick a spot, and you'll see. Look up penal laws. Check that out and see what you done to us there. The bitterness is coming on me now. I need to jump off. I'm blaming bloke for.
I know. I'm sorry. I meant no harm.
And the way you call dairy free dairy, or the way you call dairy London dairy. That's so. The first time I seen that signpost. This is the last thing I'll say on this because it is dodgy topics. But the first time I seen a signpost saying London Dairy, there was just something inside me just raging. Absolutely raging. I wanted to get out and rip it down. Like, absolute neck on you.
Black the Ripper's from Montserrat. His best friend and his manager, Screechtrue, is born in Donegal Island. That's pretty much the only place in Ireland I can...
Donegal.
Yeah.
Good spot.
Yeah, I mean, Ireland looks beautiful. But again, I think Northern Ireland shouldn't even be a thing.
Trixie, I'd say so. We'll claim you anyway, definitely. Do you know as well, people with the this is my last. I'll have to go off this. My last history lesson. But you know all the names, O'Donovan, or anything with an O. O'Donovan, O'Sullivan. If that O is dropped, you see a lot of Americans have that O dropped, so they would just have Malley instead of O'Malley, or Donovan instead of O'Donovan. Do you know why that O got dropped?
No.
So that O got dropped because we were starving and you were taking all our food, the English.
The English, I wasn't taking any food.
And you had soup kitchens and you weren't left to have soup for yourself or your family or your kids unless you changed your name and dropped the Irish part of it. So they got rid of all the O's. So if you know someone without the O, that means their ancestors took the soup.
Crime Dive is Matt or Mark Sullivan, and my friend is O'Sullivan.
Yeah, so see, they're stubborn. They didn't take the soup. Fair play. That's what you want to see.
What, O'Sullivan?
You want to see someone with the O, because if they don't have the O, it means they folded and took the soup off the English and changed their name.
And funny enough, if you ever go in my chat and you see Ash O, that's the O. So you don't even say the rest of his surname. It's Ash O.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, mate. My father figure at the moment, I had my grandpa and I had his dad, who's O'Sullivan. So literally, the main male role model in my life is an O'Sullivan.
Yeah.
So there you go.
He sounds like a good man. And
he is.
Didn't take the soup. Ask him about the O and the soup. He'll know.
I will, mate, and I'll also let you know any other stuff because this is all new to me. I didn't know about Montserrat. I didn't know about any of this, and I know it's not Delphi related, but thank God you told me.
Ask him about that and tell him his name, O'Sullivan. That means Kings of Munster. They were Kings of Munster at one stage.
What was it? I thought it was the all-seeing eye, O'Sullivan, like the all-seeing.
O'Sullivan means one-eyed man. So you see a lot of Sullivans with glasses and stuff. That's coming from. So that's where O'Sullivan is actually the Irish for the one-eyed, hawk-eyed man.
Sarah Me says Ronnie O'Sullivan is my favorite snooker player. I never watched snooker, but when I was into my betting days, which was a bad time, like just started COVID, I was like, oh, I'll bet on stuff, make some money. Start COVID, I pretty much like lost most of it. But Ronnie O'Sullivan, I think I bet on him. I never watched snooker, but I bet on him because he had the surname O'Sullivan. I only lost once with him, but I don't recommend gambling. Top man.
No, he's a lunatic. Didn't his father go to jail for was it rape or murder or something? I think.
Wait, what are we talking about? Ronnie O'Sullivan?
Yeah, I think his
I have
dad
no idea.
For a long time.
I just know he had the surname.
I'm going to have to wrap this up.
Do it, mate.
12:20. We're going on tangents galore.
Yeah, that was 20 minutes of it, mate. I'm sorry. But you helped me learn something.
Like, clicking on this for Delphi, and we're talking about Cromwell and dropping O's for soup.
Yeah, and you're saying I did it all. It's all my fault. How dare I? I love the Irish. Don't ever doubt it.
Yeah. Well, they'll appreciate you even more now when you come back with all your history up to date.
Yeah, I've got that open, the Cromwell War thing.
Right, I'm going to play my music.
Play your music, man. I'll leave you to it.
My piano music. Right. We'll jump on next week again after all the stuff comes out with your stuff, and there should be more stuff Tuesday as well. So I'll schedule this in for Thursday if you're around.
I literally, as it depends on what I get told about BBC. So I'll keep you in contact.
He's going to be too big for us, guys. That's it.
No. I might have a schedule, and I don't have a schedule right now. Yeah, I'll have to make sure they don't talk about any of the issues you've discussed because we can't know about that. England has done nothing wrong. Well, I'm just gonna shut up. Yeah. Brilliant, mate.
All right, go on.
Yeah. Also, love. I'm gonna leave your studio and let you do your thing.
I'm gonna wrap up there. Wishful, there's thanks for that blog, and guys, go check out his channel if you haven't.
You're a beautiful man.
Guys are throwing it in the chat there all the time anyway.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'll be doing that thing tomorrow with the transcripts, hopefully, and most likely. So I'll see you there.
Perfect. Good luck. God bless.
Take care.
Go on. Wishful, I don't think there is a little bit. Yeah, probably. Like if I see it now, I'm like, oh, you took the soup? Your ancestors took the soup. And there's a small bit as well in me, which, what's the nicest way to say this? Because it's probably not my best. I think like 70% of the people who watch my videos are from the States. And most people in the States will claim, I think, well, what you have 50-60% can claim their roots back to Ireland. But it really bothers me, that story I was telling you about. Like at one stage, we should have united with the black community, or black brothers and friends, and getting behind them, especially up around the areas of Boston and stuff like that. And we didn't. We kind of turned our back on them and became cops and suppressed them, and that just stings a bit. I don't think people in the Irish Americans maybe know that about that pivotal point where we could have gone one way or the other, you know. Yeah, this total random. Guys, thanks so much for anyone who... There's a few of you been here all along. 3 hours, my God. Thanks, bloke. We'll all check out your channel tomorrow. It was good crack though. That was good fun. I know it was a bit random, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. Thanks for joining, and I'll catch you. I might have that good video tomorrow on a special video for a special Weasel. You'll enjoy that one. It's not going to be a normal type of video that I make, and I probably won't do one again. But I think she deserves it. I think she deserves it. Right. Go on. I'm going to go, guys, and go to bed. Good luck. God bless. Thanks for keeping me company. I really enjoyed it.